You guys know me. I can't make you wait. Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to the New American Journal, My American Journal, whatever I've decided to call it today. I am Rex Jones, your embattled host. I'm about to be joined by Anthony Graffio and Matthew Murphy in the second hour. But before I do that, I have to send them the actual link so they can get into the show. Sorry, I was running around. My dog came back in. I get my dog walk sometimes in the mornings, and he just came on back through. So I had to get him some water, get him situated. How are you guys doing today? We got a good show for you guys today. We got an interesting topic of discussion, multiple interesting topics of discussion. Any of you guys watch that Andrew Wilson, Owen Schroyer debate last night? Because I was just on the phone hanging out with his producer, DMT, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is going down." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I wasn't aware of this, but it's like the cool thing about politics is it's like, like a new season of your favorite show will drop. You'll be like, "When did this happen?" Because there's no like production value or whatever. It's just like world events and people arguing and debating them, right? So whenever there's a debate to be had, you tune into it and it's just like everything you're interested in. And it really proves the point of MAGA versus MIGA. So I'm very excited to get into that and kind of the hypocrisy surrounding within. But we got Anthony with us now, and this is really going to help me because I'm actually going to be able to do prep and pull up some things. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, bro. Let's get it. Another good day.
So tell them a little bit about our guests that we got coming on while I get some things prepped here.
So we have Matt Murphy coming on. He's ex-Special Forces. He was a Green Beret. He was super into helping with child trafficking. He was down in South America. He's basically like the real version of Tim Ballard. I don't know if you know Tim Ballard and that whole entire thing. He'll talk all about this stuff, but he has so many accolades. Super against the war, super against Trump. He voted for Trump. He'll probably talk about his situation that happened with Sean Ryan. Him and Sean Ryan had a falling out because he started talking about Zionism and all this stuff. And then Sean Ryan recently reached back out to him and like, "Oh, I get it now." He'll probably tell that story. He's got some amazing accolades, amazing guests, and you guys are really going to enjoy him.
Right. And we got someone who says you also get some Marines on. We got Special Forces. We got everybody. We got a ton of people in the community that want to come talk to us. We're super honored and excited to talk to them as well. I think it's very important for people to understand, especially people like us, like we're civilians, to understand the reality of what an actual war is and what it looks like. And I think I understand it because I understand, like, at its core, it's a dead body, right? Like it's a corpse in a ditch. That's in reality what war is. But we're going to hear up close and personal from Matthew, like when it's worth it versus when it's not. Yeah. I think that's the key distinction we want to draw today. And also just getting into it, because I think it kind of dovetails and ties in perfectly with the debate that Owen and Andrew did last night.
Oh my gosh, dude, what a slaughtering!
Dude, what did you think of that?
Oh, Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson's careers are finished. I mean, there's no coming back from that. They're only going to have their little small sect of like people that are still groveling.
Dude, it's huge. No, but that's the scary thing, man.
They're scared. It's like,
I'm not trying to interrupt. I'm like my dad. I'm sorry. I gotta cut.
You're good.
But the thing is like they have big numbers. They have big engagement. And I noticed, actually, I have a clip in here, and it's of other people trying to dunk on Andrew. I don't particularly care about that. I'm even going to fast forward to the part where they're trying to do ad hominem because that's not important to me, right? But what is important is like, so basically, he was sending this girl, or like this woman, on this podcast. He was sending her like voice memos about like his philosophical positions, which is such I don't know. It's just a little I don't know. I would define that. Like I have friends that go to St. Ed's. If they did that and they were trying to like get with the art hoe, I would call that the sneaky fucker mating strategy, to be honest with you. But I'm not accusing him of anything like that. I don't think it was that. I mean, I think he was trying to go on this show. So he's just like pontificating or whatever, but he's pontificating and he's like, X, everything everyone says on X, I just use it to shit post because it's not real. It doesn't matter. And that's the same exact thing that Quarterly said to deflect from his positions that back war crime, that back murder, that back genocide, all these things. It's, I'm a serious political commentator. This guy even more so because he's like a school debater. This is what he does. But no. My political positions that I have on X they're either jokes, they're taken out of context, or it's just a shitpost app, so none of it matters anyway.
And there's two important things about Andrew Wilson. First off, how is he the arbiter of truth when all he did was dunk on OnlyFans chicks? Like that's how he built his following, was just dunking on OnlyFans chicks. And the thing that bothers me is that he LARPs as an Orthodox Christian. How can you say that you're an Orthodox Christian and say the things that come out of his mouth?
I can't
so pro-war.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Make your point, because you're not me and I'm not you. I'll make mine. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. I just think like him, and it's a good thing that I saw a lot of people in the debate like, you brought me to Orthodoxy, you brought me to Christianity. I like that. I'm happy for that. But also, like, your fruits aren't showing by making jokes about bombing little girls and then saying it's better because they got raped. Like, that's such a disgusting thing to say. And as a Christian man, you should never say it. It is
disgusting, like and that's the thing, is like, it is actually gross. Like, it is an actually gross thing to say. Like, he literally said they're better off dead than raped.
Disgusting.
Like, that was literally the argument as to why we're allowed to do collective punishment. Is because when we collectively punish people, it's the same thing as like, we'll be greeted as liberators. And that's the thing, is like, for you, and especially for Matthew and just for everybody else, like, I'm a youngin', right? Even though I'm Unk Maxing, we're Unk Maxing in 2026, but I don't remember like the Iraq War and things like that. I mean, this is the exact same language. These people are neocons. And for a decade straight, that was the position, whether left or right. People would dunk on them. People would like laugh at them. Like, oh, you supported the Iraq War. Like, you're insane. You're crazy. And now everybody that did that, they hive mind. We have been at war for 47 years. The mullahs are all pedophiles. We must kill all the children in the country so that they are not raped. Like, it's really wild. And of course, it's a false dichotomy, because that's not what's happening anyway. And I think I think he lied about the age of the Ayatollah's wife.
He did. He lied about a lot of that stuff. First off, that whole entire thing about child marriage is so literally younger people could get married in Iran, because that's just like what they believe in. I mean, sure, there's probably sick people that take advantage of it and marry younger or whatever, but it's like it's more about like building a family at a younger age. And this is something that's happened culturally for a very long time. People got married
here
younger.
You can sign a 360 contract, your parents can, and they could sell your likeness and image forever. So I don't like this thing. And this just gets back to the whole Christian thing of like, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Do we have the right to go kill thousands of civilians in an attempt to overhaul another civilization that's not ours?
Yeah.
This is the key.
And he's saying like, we're over there like just to kill pedophiles and this and that. It's like, we have plenty of pedophiles in America.
Right. No, but he denied that as well.
I know, which is sick.
But see, that's the whole worldview, is like, Epstein is not real. The war is justified. We control Israel. This is what they say as a cope. And this is what the Ryland guy said as a cope as well. He said, I'm sorry for the lack of news blitz, guys, but this is like greater themes today. This is actually important.
This is super important. Yeah.
This is super important. That we say, what was I saying? I had a goldfish memory.
No, you have, you were saying Ryland, he makes the point as well.
Okay. Yeah. So they make the point of, all right, this is why I'm not the king. All right. This is why I'm not my dad. We're going somewhere with this. You were talking about
Epstein stuff, how like he's basically saying like we were over there killing pedophiles, but then he's denying the fact that there's a pedophile ring in our own country, and that Epstein trafficked to nobody.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the point that these people make is that like we control Israel. They're like, they're actually our bitch. Like, that's what the guy said to me on the call. And it's like, ridiculous. Bro, we literally go to war for them. And I brought up Marco Rubio. I said, Marco Rubio literally said the day after it happened that Israel was going to go in and we had to join the strike because we feared the Iranian retaliation. We knew it would kill American soldiers. So if taking us to war is not control of our government, I don't know what is. I don't understand. And when you're arguing for this war, you're arguing for that Israeli control of our government. You can't separate the two because this isn't an organic thing. And they will show you all of these events. They will point to all these things. They will go, Iranians, they've killed our soldiers. They made the IED. Well, they made the IED that killed the American soldiers. You know what the Americans did? The Americans made the chemical weapons that Saddam Hussein used on the Iranians in the brutal Iran-Iraq war. They killed 400,000 people. So the quickest way to create a terrorist, and we all know this. I've been talking about this literally since I was 10 years old. The quickest way to make a terrorist is to blow up somebody's house, because it makes a lot of sense that you'd want to get back at the person that blew up your house and killed your entire family. Now, people like Andrew think that we're insulated from this because we live in the empire, and the empire is so great and so powerful that these things will never come home. When in reality, that attitude will usher in an era of we don't even have to worry about a foreign power doing that to us. Our own domestic power, or just domestic empire, our own empire will treat us that way. They will oppress us because they will say it's better than the foreign power doing it. That's essentially what we advocate for when we advocate for positions.
I'm sure people are going to give me pushback on this, but this is just my personal opinion. I think that if these Islamic people were so radical and doing all this stuff that they do, then why would we have to make all these proxies? Why would we have to create these groups that actually go and be boogeymen? You know, like even though if their houses are and their families are getting killed and all this stuff, William Asfor is a perfect example of this. Like, they're still peaceful people because in Islam it says that you can't kill. Like, we only know what we know because of the American propaganda that we know it from. But the groups that we fought against, like these Sunni Muslims that were like ISIS and Al Qaeda, the Taliban, all these were created groups by the CIA and Mossad. Like, there's proven fact that John McCain was flying over to Syria and helping ISIS. Like, we created these proxy groups.
Right.
We
I mean, look, he was in Ukraine as well. It was also in Ukraine.
We created all these crazy groups. We created all these
that's the thing, is like they want to say that like these world events or these wars happen because of some sort of justice. And that's complete bullshit. And the thing is, it's their world. It's not our world. We can't control our world. We can't take care of our own people. We can't feed or house or give health care to our own people.
Exactly.
You know what? If that makes me a bleeding heart leftist that I want to live in the greatest country in the world, so be it. So be it. And you enjoy the position of lording over and grandstanding and acting like, oh, I'm not an imperialist. I believe in hegemony. I believe I'm a hegemon. This is cool. And it's like, oh, so you're gonna do the little word dance? You're gonna do the little shuck and jive tap dance? We know what you mean. We know what you advocate for. You're advocating for more war. And the people, they voted against this war. And we're actually, you know what, I'll play the disclaimer here because he says this at the beginning of the debate. It's an admission of defeat as well, because he goes on to defend the war after saying he doesn't support the war. And you see this as well, interestingly enough, with the quartering as well. The quartering does this too.
Yeah,
the quartering. He also says, I don't support the war.
Of course, they have to, because they have to take that position to be able to lie. That's what they have to do. They have to, like, they're liars. They're not good debaters.
They have to be like, oh, I'm just like you. I don't support the war, but I'm not a rabid, crazy mongrel like you that's willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's literally what they say.
Yeah, that other guy, Ryland, like, was just straight up like, I'm an imperialist. Like, we should take over the entire world. Like, that was his position, you know? Like,
and these people, they're waddling around the internet, trying to control the lives of people thousands of miles away from them, trying to kill them.
Well, this is why these debates are so important. Like, shout out to everybody that's platforming these people to debate like this, because really it's about the American people seeing these arguments against each other and making their own decision on things. Like, and that's why they're scared. That's why they need to go into these echo chambers. Like, that's why I didn't go against that America Uncensored guy. He's like, oh, come to Jewcast. I'm like, no, why the hell would I go to an all Jewish platform to go debate you about Kabbalah and the Talmud? That works so against me. Like, if you want to conjoin our shows, then sure, I'll do it, because that allows everybody to come in. But when you go into an echo chamber, you're going to lose every time. We need this to be wide scale so people can make their own decisions.
Well, and it's so important. And we were even in the group chat and we were kind of talking about a few things. And it's just so important to realize, beyond any other political position, being anti-war trumps everything right now. Really, and no pun intended. Sorry to do that. It does trump everything, though. Like, being anti-war, that is the number one position. I don't care who holds that position, why they hold that position. It doesn't matter to me. This shit has to stop.
I totally agree.
It's not just being anti this war. It's being anti all the wars. And what that means is divestment from Israel. That's what that means. Yeah. Like 38. This is a whole nother thing. Oh, dude, we got a whole show today. Don't let me forget. Leonardo Jolie, Tim Pool, The Tim Pool struggle session. Don't let me forget.
We're getting her on here too. We're getting her on here too.
Yeah. Tim
We're getting her on here.
Struggle session. I mean, here's the we got so many clips. I got so many things to go to. We're going to have that powerful second hour coming up. So we really only got 40 minutes. So let's go ahead and dive into the Andrew Wilson thing. And then we're going to get in the third hour. We're going to get into the struggle session where Tim Pool, in an effort to beat Leonardo Jolie over the head with statistics, proves her point that Israel is the only foreign country that you're mandated to support. Thanks. He's like, there are all these you can't support. Oh, so there's only one that you have to. And he literally, you got Beavis and Butthead's teacher, you got Mr. Heavy Metal, you got the Can Man, the guy that's kind of built like a cylindrical aluminum device. It's real weird. All right, Tim Cass, they nominally female co-host or whatever. You know, they always got one of those in there, kind of like a mystery meat. But we're gonna go ahead and show this first clip here of Andrew, and this is prefacing. I know it's not up.
Send Tim Cass some Primal Core. Those guys,
that's a good idea, actually.
They need testosterone immediately over there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, let's take a look at this. This is Andrew's disclaimer. Okay, this is and see this. I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst host alive. Okay, because I have to cut it back to me, to the camera, and talk about what I want to talk about just for a split second. It's like the Giga Brain thing of like, I have the iPad, I have the notepad, I probably have the Google glasses he's going to put on. And it's just like, I'm the debater. I'm the Lord. I'm the emperor of what's right and wrong. Oh, you don't think I've considered that, you young man? And it's just like, it's so sanctimonious. Cringe. You don't have to behave this way. And he's going to preface the opposite of his position to show that he's moral, which proves that his position is immoral and that he's incorrect. We're going to go ahead and play it now. Sorry. We're having fun. We're having a good time. Let me know about the audio, guys.
So, first and foremost, let me clear up any misrepresentation when it comes to my views. I am anti-Zionist and anti-Christian Zionist especially. I have done many debates on the topic, and I've won them all. I'm also very anti-Islam and consider the ideology just as poisonous as the ideology of Zionism, especially Christian Zionism. I am not a war supporter in Iran, and I never have been. I say this at the beginning of the debate, so when bad faith trolls who are on foreign accounts try to influence American politics in the comments, claiming that I'm in some way a Zionist, pro-Israel, pro-Islam shill, you can shatter the lies by simply showing them the beginning of this debate, which they won't even watch. And you and I can laugh at their stupidity together. That said, I also don't believe Jews or Arabs are ontologically evil just because they are Jewish or Arabic. I represent a worldview, and I believe...
Lies. He's going to go on to say that the children should die so they're not raped by the PDF files.
Yeah, lies.
So he's not biased in any way. He doesn't have, it's all objective to him.
There are stupid and evil ideologies in this world, and those are the things I debate against and resist on a political level.
Okay, all right. So he's anti-war, right? That's his position. Now, let's look at what being anti-war means. This is apparently an anti-war position. So let's see if it's logically consistent.
We still have control of it. What did I say? The future will go down.
We'll see. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, but that's not the case right now, and Americans are struggling.
All right, we're going to do a lot of play and pause, and this is a very brief moment. We have the full debate, and we'll go to that after we go through these few clips here. We can kind of jump around. So I like that these arrogant people say, well, it's going to come down in the future. You don't know what Trump has planned. You don't know what's going on. Well, what if the process that you're saying is going to get better never started in the first place? What if we just remained at baseline? Because, see, we're not advocating for additional policy. We were advocating for the existing policy of no war. You're the one that's advocating for a new policy of war. And in that, you want to make predictions? Yeah. We had a 100% verifiable fact. The strait was open. The strait was not closed. Global fertilizer and oil trade was not impeded. You have now done that. It has made the price come up. Trump has done market manipulation. It's made the price come down a little bit. You say, oh, it's just going to continue to go down. Do you see how that's just on its face bullshit?
It's lies, yeah. Also, he advocates for trad wives, and his wife's a trad or whatever. She didn't iron his shirt.
That's actually a good point.
Like,
here's the thing. I have a giant snarl of laundry up there right now. I have a giant like laundry pile. Like, I love women. Women are better than me, but like that's like please help me live. That's what you want. That's what you want more than anything. And I don't know. He does need to get the shirt iron
financially, and now here we are in another war in the Middle East, and we're sick of it.
Are you going to blame market speculators?
I'm going to blame Trump for getting us into another war on Israel's behalf. Yes, I am going to blame Trump for that. He did that.
Yeah.
I mean, fact. It's just a fact. And like, we literally 10,000 times no new wars, and like so many variations. No more neocon wars, no more wars specifically in the Middle East, no more wars for oil, no more, like literally every variation, like Mad Libs that you could throw in of being anti-war, they did. I guess they finally ran out of ways to do it. And they're like, okay, we'll just do opposite day and we'll just be pro-war now. We'll find different ways to say we're pro-war. And it's all propaganda.
Yeah, for sure. It's embarrassing.
Oh, so help me out here. Can you tell me all of the downsides of Donald Trump killing pedophiles in the Middle East?
So is that not a what's the word for what he just did? Is that not a not an oversimplification, but like painting with broad strokes, just saying, well, everyone in the Middle East is a pedophile, but specifically Iran. So if everyone in the Middle East, if they're all pedophiles, then why we give money to the Saudis that do the same thing? Why do we give money to the UAE that does the same thing? Why do we give money to all these groups that do the same exact things? But oh no, with Iran, you see how it's just an excuse. It's convenient. It's selective morality.
Well,
it's not objective. It's selective.
We're allowed to have our bases there. That's why.
Yeah, and dude, it's so outrageous because people are going to see this and they're going to be like, "There's being selective of one of his clips. They take him out of context." I watched this live, and I was like, "This is so bad. I have to clip it."
It's a beatdown.
If that's selective, then I guess it's selective. It's what the words that came out of his mouth. But check this out.
First of all, do you know every single person? Were those schoolgirls pedophiles?
It's institutionalized in the Iranian
Constitution. No. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
You want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped? But
no. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
You want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped? But
no. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
You want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped? But that aside. No, of course not. But you want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped. But that aside, no, of course not. But there's going to be deaths inside of a war.
Wow.
You want them to be alive so they can get raped, and then he chuckles. That apparently is Christian morality. I don't think so. I'm not baptized. I'm not fully Orthodox. I'm not like Andrew. I'm not going to cast aspersions at anyone's faith. Lord have mercy. Lord knows I'm very wicked. I'm very terrible. We're all very wicked, very terrible.
Amen.
All of it. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about his faith. I'm not gonna talk about his religion, but I will talk about Jesus. Jesus would never say that.
Ever.
And if you're out there repping that, if you're repping orthodoxy, let's just play that again. Play that again real quick.
Okay, so it is a war. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
I want to make sure that they're alive so they can get raped. But
it's garbage human. It's garbage human. I'm sorry.
Pretty bad take there.
Yeah, complete garbage. I mean, how do you even say something like that and laugh at it? It's horrible. You look at one's face. He's like, "What did you just say?"
Exactly. And look at him. He thinks it's funny. He thinks it's all a big joke because to him, they're just people thousands of miles away. They're not real people, so it's just a number, to be crossed off a list, just kind of like, the Epstein file victims and all the redacted stuff that we're not going to know about. He goes on to say later on in the debate that that's really not a big deal to him also. So, I mean, like, what do you care about? What do you, and he goes on to say stuff a lot like this. He's like, reforms are going to be incremental. We do incremental reforms. We do, blah, blah, blah. Does anything ever change? Does anything ever get better? It's the same bullshit. Like, maybe that's why, dude, maybe just a ton of people of all age groups are just built to be cattle. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. And by the way, to give a little context, this
ourselves included, like we can't deny that we've all been propagandized. It's really shameful. Our society as humans.
And just to give a little context real fast, this is prior to him saying that Epstein wasn't a sex trafficker and a pedophile. So,
wow.
Yeah, this is after. This is after the fact that he said that. So just think about that. Think about how insane of a take this is.
Wow. I'm play it.
That aside, no, of course not. But there's going to be deaths inside of a war.
Okay, so it is a war.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't a war.
Does he need
I'm not going to
congressional
quibble
approval?
over the word, even though there's no ground invasion, there's no boots on the ground, there's none of
Still a war.
I'm going to look something up real quick. Give me 1 second.
It's still a war, though. I mean, just because there's not boots on the ground, it's something that we shouldn't have done. Like Owen said, like we're in a war for Israel. There's no other reason for this. And anybody that says something different is just lying. Because like you said, Marco Rubio even admitted that. But what should have happened is we should have let Israel go over there and do their own campaign and then get their shit kicked in by Iran. Because without us, they would have lost this war within a week. It's just a fact. There would be no Tel Aviv if America wasn't involved in this at all.
Wow. Well, I just definitely got put on a list because of what I just looked up. So 13 American soldiers are dead. All right. When he says there's no boots on the ground, there's blood on the ground. Is that good enough for you, Mr. Andrew? 13 American soldiers dead. That's 16.5 gallons of blood. Okay. So that's 16.5 gallons of blood. I just looked up like how many gallons of blood it would take to fill a bathtub because I wasn't sure. So he can't yet take a bath in it. He needs like another dozen to die so then he can finally bathe in the blood. And then maybe he'll have fulfilled his objective with, supporting the war and all of it and saying, oh, no boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, because 16.5 gallons of blood isn't enough for Andrew Wilson to say, whoa, this is a bad idea. We should have never done this.
That's a lot of blood.
Because he said, no. At the beginning, he says, oh, they ignore my disclaimer. I say I'm against the war. I ain't gonna criticize me now. All you're doing is defending it, saying it's worth it to kill PDF files. Well, was it worth it to kill the Iranian PDF files? Was the 16.5 gallons of American blood worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. You know me in person, and I look really chopped on camera. I am not this fat.
No, he's a chud, like literally. Like
this is crazy. This is wild. It's just, he's getting mogged right now. Look at that.
Oh, bro, that's aura right there. Swag.
Whoa, buddy.
Swag.
that. I just want to know, how is the global interest served? You're so concerned about pedophiles. He killed one of the most major ones who's ever existed since the late 1970s. He
was friends with Epstein.
He put it inside of the Constitution of Iran that you can marry 9-year-old girls, dude. And by the way, Khomeini,
that's good.
Khomeini, hang on, almost done. Khomeini was married to
It's a lie.
All right, no, it is a lie, but check this out. So people in the comments have been going, and Owen said it was a good thing that the Constitution say you could marry a 9-year-old and do right the crucible. They've been saying this, the crucible. They've been saying all sorts of stuff like this, right? So you look at what's just been laid down here. What was I just saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, you were saying that Elwin said that it was good for the marriage of 9-year-olds or whatever, which isn't true, by the way. That's not a true fact. That was a lie.
Right. Well, I lost my train of thought. I completely bombed out there. That's very disappointing. I'm going to rewind. Maybe I'll jog my memory real quick. Sorry, guys.
the Constitution of Iran that you can marry 9-year-old girls, dude. And by the way, Khomeini,
that's good.
Khomeini, hang on, almost done. Khomeini was married to a 15-year-old, perhaps by the lunar cycle.
Oh, okay. So they were saying, well, Owen thinks it's all right for you to marry a 9-year-old because he was saying, yeah, to Andrew's answer. Well, Andrew interrupts him and talks over his ass. Okay? Like, that's what we just witnessed there. That's the point I was trying to make. Excuse me. I just want to respond to the haters.
Well, could have been 14. His son was married to a 14 or 15-year-old. A lot of his high command were married to children as well.
And Anthony, you've looked into this. He's making this up?
Yeah, he's a bullshitter.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a liar. I mean, obviously, you're going to get the American propaganda from, obviously, the people that want us to go over there and believe these things. But Khomeini was married to, like, an older woman.
Sure.
Like, they showed her. She was like,
Lutnick was on the fucking island.
Yeah, this is
like what is your standard?
And I have a question too, because what we're hearing in America is that Motajba, or however you say his name, is gay. So how is he married to a little girl if he's gay? Now I'm confused on that.
Gotta pick one.
Yeah,
damn.
weird.
Trump killed. all of them. All of them without a single boot on the ground.
Great. And I'm sure after we've killed thousands of Iranians, including young schoolgirls and the entire...
No, you can't do that. I think it's important for people to actually go and watch some videos of what Iran actually looks like and who the people are and like the civilization that it is. Like, if you're going to bring up Muslims that are married to like younger children or do pedophilic things, look up the Bachabazi boys. Like, that's an actual thing that you can say, okay, these guys are disgusting pedophiles. They're in Afghanistan. They sex traffic little boys and make them dress up as women. That's a real thing. But to go over and lie and be like the whole Iranian civilization with all the millions of people there are pedophiles is a complete lie. They're a civilization. They're married to women of their age. They have children. They have families. Like, he's like, oh, pedophiles. Like saying the entire civilization is a pedophilic place is a lie. You're
well, I mean, saying that Owen says, so you're okay with the thousands of civilians dead, or Iranians dead, civilians dead, and he goes, pedophiles, and he does this little. I want to show you guys the eyes. I want you to watch this here. I want you to pay attention here. He's talking about, and look how he's like, I just dismiss that. I just throw that under the rug. I'm Andrew Wilson. I cover for war crime. Like, that's Andrew Wilson covers for war crime. I want to debate him. I honestly do. And it's going to be very hard. He's a much more skilled debater than me. He's had a lot more practice than me. But on the topic of being anti-Iran war, being anti-war in general, I challenge you, Andrew Wilson, to both a debate and a diet.
Ooh.
Let's see who gets in better shape. Let's go we'll get a DEXA scan, and then we'll do another one 3 to 4 months later. And doesn't matter, like, of course, you're fatter than me, most likely, and I have more muscle than you, most likely. We'll do body fat differential. And I'll give you a 1.5% handicap. Let's do it.
Ooh, okay.
That's a big, I have to seriously cut. That's a big deal. Clip this. Hold on. All right. That's actually a good idea. I come up with good ideas on the fly. All right. Andrew Wilson, I challenge you to both a debate and a diet. We are both out of shape slobs. This is not okay. We are representing political ideologies. You got to rep and mog what you're presenting. So I challenge you to this. Me and you, we go get a DEXA scan this week. All right. We take 3 months, biggest differential in body fat percentage loss. Like, of course, we're going to be different percentages and whatnot, younger, older, more muscle, less fat, more fat, whatever. But biggest differential in body fat loss, I'll even give you a 1.5% handicap, which means I have to lose 1.5% more body fat than you do. Let's do it. Wow. I challenge you to a diet and also to a debate, because you very clearly support this Iran war, no matter how much you rail against it at the beginning of your debates. We've just watched you equivocate all Iranian civilian dead with pedophiles. So I would like to hear that position elucidated. I would like to hear epistemic justification from it, coming from your Orthodox Christian worldview. How can you support child murder? How can you support these things? How can you point at a nation like Iran when we have pedophiles running our own government, which you dismiss? Let's talk about it all. But here's the thing, seriously, we're out of shape and it's a problem. You more so than me. Okay, I can still squat 315 and stuff. I don't think you can do that. But here's the thing. We can't be fat anymore in 2026. Summer is coming up. The youth must be inspired. Let's do it. I challenge you, Andrew Wilson, Paleo ChristCon, add him, tag him, clip this, do whatever. I challenge you to a diet and to a debate. We'll do the debate in like a couple months, do it, whatever. I need a little bit of prep time. You're a better debater than me. You're more experienced, but I believe I'm more correct. I believe I'm right, and I believe you're wrong. So I'm willing to do it. But we also need to do the diet as well, because you are a pig man. I am slightly a pig man, and it's time for that to change. Let's make something positive out of this. Let's have some fun. I challenge you, Andrew Wilson. Okay. Isn't that fun? We have fun on the morning show. Like, we have a fun time. We have a good time. I challenge Andrew Wilson. Okay, we'll play the rest of the clip out because I keep yapping over it. I apologize.
You still have it in, yeah, there you go.
Great. And I'm sure after we've killed thousands of Iranians, including young schoolgirls and the entire family, I'm sure.
Again, if that's the position,
that the Iranians are going to be less radicalized because of that. So I'm not
radicalized. What do you mean? How do you get more radicalized than marrying children, dude?
What do you think they're going to stop?
What are you talking about?
You think they're going to stop?
No. Well, I'm just saying. How do you get more radical? You're like, oh, the Iranians are going to get more radicalized.
Dude,
we're going to do the debate.
Filth man.
We're going to do the debate. He's going to have to defend some of that stuff. That's pretty crazy. And like I said, no ad hominem attack, no BS. I'm not here to come after you. I'm here to debate you on your positions. I think they don't match your religion, to be honest, our religion, to be honest with you. They don't match, the theology of the Orthodox Church. Really doesn't. So, especially, honestly, you want to get into this. You want to talk about the age people used to get married, in the first century or not first century, first millennia and stuff like that. Talk about like 14-year-olds and stuff getting married. And then you want to cast aspersions when you're a member of the Orthodox Church. It's a
weird position.
Hey, man, it's selective outrage. It's selective morality. It's what these people engage in. It's what they are, is that they're not serious people. And it's kind of like you brought up about him doing like the whatever podcast, the OnlyFans girl circuit. That's the same thing with like the Ben Shapiro who goes to the college to dunk on the 20-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same exact. It's the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But how about you talk to people that actually care about these things?
Exactly. And then, he just got, let's see in the chat for the people that watched it, W's for Owen, and L's for Andrew, because he lost completely. Owen crushed this guy, dude. It was, in my opinion, it's going to take a long time for him to rebuild whatever he had, because he absolutely got smoked.
No, bro. It's about audience capture. Like, he knows now who his people are. He's hunting for like the Loomer fans, the Levin fan, the Cat Turd fan.
Yeah, let him get those.
That's what you're preaching towards when you preach that line. It's just like the quartering. And the quartering is even worse because he pretends not even to be political. Like, at least Andrew says I'm political. The quartering pretends to not even be political, and he floats around kind of like I compare him to like a great whale or a filter feeder to krill. People that are just not paying attention are just kind of floating around the water. The quartering, and he sucks you all in, and he takes you in. He's like, "You're my audience now." That's what all these people do, because they require people that the spoon feeding of propaganda must be done daily. You have to understand. They come back for more reinforcement of the echo chamber and their worldview.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's all signaling.
Yeah, for sure. And you see that too in the end of the debate, where you see the people asking the questions. It's like Andrew stands, and they're all chuds just like him. The one dude had a Palantir shirt on. I don't know if you saw that. Literally had a Palantir shirt on. I was like, well, what kind of plant is this?
Yeah, and you're like, I actually don't like industrialized murder. I actually don't like these private defense companies and intelligence companies that are going to control our lives and build robots to enslave us. And then they'll go, oh, so you want Russia and China to take over the world? Like that's the argument. Literally, it's like, we have to be the evil so that the other people aren't the evil. That's the entire argument of like hegemony, empire, whatever bullshit word you want to give it.
Yeah, for sure. It's imperialism.
He is an imperialist.
Yeah, that's what it is. He can say whatever he wants, but he's an imperialist.
Absolutely. So, I wanted to show this because I got a few things here. We're gonna pull up the Tim Pool thing here in the third hour. We're about to be joined by Matt Murphy, of course. Really looking forward to doing that interview. Special Forces, all of it, been around the world, seen a lot of things. Gonna talk to the point of like, hey, that guy Ryland told me everything I've seen is fake. Let's talk about that. And we got even more amazing guests coming up. Tell them about the amazing guests we got coming up.
We got Brian McGinnis, the Marine that got his arm broken in the middle of Senate by Senator Shahihi,
right?
Who paid AIPAC slave. We got Anthony Aguilar, also another Green Beret, also running for I think Congress. We are in talks with Leonardo. So.
Give me one moment. Just keep doing this for a second. I got to get my notepad.
No, you're good. We got Leonardo Joni. It's gonna be we have so many good guests. I'm still gonna be reaching out to a lot more.
I am not in as bad a shape as Andrew Wilson. Okay,
at all.
Look at this. Here, Here, we'll show the stomach a little bit. That's not that bad.
You got abs right there. I see little abs. Some abs poking. We're gonna give you a bunch of tallow, bro. You'll see it'll burn it right off. But yeah, I mean, Andrew Wilson takes the stance of saying that there's no proof that Epstein's a pedophile or he's a sex trafficker or Donald Trump's not connected to this. And then he goes and says that an entire civilization is full of pedophiles and that's why we have to go over there and bomb them. It's like a complete joke. First off, it's so easy to connect Donald Trump to the pedophile ring. Whether you go from the Roy Cohn position, whether you go from the Jean-Luc Brunel position, where he was literally hosting teenage pageantry with a known sex trafficker that was connected to the Epstein syndicate. There's so many ways to prove that Donald Trump, Epstein, all these people are sex traffickers, are completely complicit with pedophilic ways and ritualistic ways and eating children. I mean, there's so many ways that you could take it. For him to go and say that the entire civilization of Iran, oh, look at that.
Andrew Wilson doesn't have this. He doesn't possess it. He doesn't have the horseshoe. So, and people call me fat. All right. And I am fat and I do need to lose weight. But here's the thing. You can't let yourself go to this sort of level. So
no.
But get back into it. So you told them, we have Brian McGinnis. We have, who else did Ashford put us in touch with? It was another guy, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're working on him. He's in Australia, but he's a doctor that was in Gaza. So, right. And the things that he's going to tell us, I want to just warn the audience, it's going to be a very graphic show. But it's needs to be heard. It needs to be heard, you know.
Yeah, that'll be X only.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to go to starting tomorrow. With the Brian McGinnis, it'll be perfect. We're going to go to, there's going to be a new YouTube, Rumble, Linktree, everything. It's already made. I was too behind this morning to sign into everything, get it all fixed on the computer, but I'm going to do it after the stream. We are set up.
Awesome.
We're good.
So
it'll be moving forward. Like there's going to be a place for you guys, especially for people that want to watch this on Rumble. A lot of you guys have been messaging me, asking me about this. We're going to do it. And I'm really sorry. I lost a lot of the audience because of not being able to jump on things as quick as I thought I would be able to. But here's the thing, guys, getting into the point of, we're going to do a little bit of plugging here in a minute. It's like, it's a life and death battle for me right now to be able to pay payroll and pay rent, just like it is for Anthony. And this is why, like, we're small business owners, guys, like that. That's what we do. He has phenomenal beef tallow products at the ungovernableproject.com. I've got 50% off.com and jonescbd.com, as well as some other ones that I'm going to show you here in about 5-10 minutes. The reason why we plug, we really, really are passionate and care about doing a show, but even more so than that, we're really passionate about our ability to contribute to the economy and take care of our people. And it's getting harder to do that, especially because people are being tricked into buying these like big brand, big label products that are really bad for them, when there are proper alternatives that they could find that could be sourced to help American jobs, American manufacturing, American shipping. If you want to support the man on the ground, the small businessman, me and Anthony Graffio, we're both that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I want to show this really quick. And you sent him the link, right? He's got the link to join.
I'll send it right now.
Yeah, we got to send him the link. I'm sorry I didn't do that.
No, you're good.
I'll follow him back too on X. I know I haven't done that yet, but take a look at this. So this is like Icarus. You know, Icarus, he flew too close to the sun. Zelensky is preparing sanctions against Israel. He says on Facebook, he's furious that Israel buys Russian grain. The Israeli authorities cannot be unaware of which ships are arriving at the country's ports. This reminds me of like when you'll have like, you know, like all right, you have like the bikers mess with Terminator, right? Like Terminator 2, and then the Terminator beats him up. What does bro think he's doing? Dude, you're not supposed to criticize Israel.
You are Israel.
Yeah, dude, Ukraine falls tomorrow. Like immediately, the second Zelensky opens his mouth. I just thought this is funny. It's probably a nothing burger or whatever. I am mad at him, Netanyahu. He buy grain to avoid the sanction. It makes me very upset. What do you mean? The tapes are coming out. What do you mean? The military aid has stopped. What do you mean? Netanyahu, no, please save my country. Please give me nuclear weapon. I'm sorry, Zelensky. You have betrayed our sacred trust between our chosen peoples. Now you must die. All right, those are bad impressions, but it's so funny to me to think about the fact like this guy controls the planet basically over here. This guy runs the West. He runs the U.S. Israeli empire, dictates foreign policy. And then this guy is a total puppet carve out, literally played the president on TV in a show bankrolled by a Jewish Ukrainian billionaire. And now I have begun to pipe up. Like, this is like on the food chain, you have like the great white and then you have like the guppy, basically. That's how I see this.
Well, it's kosher theater. You know, they're both Jewish. They both work hand in hand. I mean, Israel and Ukraine are basically the same thing. No, I am Ukrainian. Yes. Interesting. No, Netanyahu is not a Polish man. He's Jewish. Yes.
And it's like they actually have no identity, if you think about it.
Yeah. Interesting, too, that it's about grain, because if you look at the Holodomor, that's when the Bolsheviks took the grain from the Ukrainians and killed millions of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. Interesting. Interesting little loophole there. Little tidbit. Yeah.
Too many weird coincidences, guys. Check this out as well, and maybe Matt will have some thoughts on this. What are we doing?
God, no way.
What are we doing here
anymore? There's no
way,
bro. There's no way. That has to be AI.
Dude, let's get Papa Roach. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. That was actually pretty good. I hit that pretty well.
You did. Wait, did you see though?
Let's get that's kind of like my Linkin Park kind of singing voice is kind of my singing voice. That type of like da 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 da. Like that. That's kind of how I do it. But this is what Andrew supports. This is what the quartering supports. It's a cartoon. It's like The Office or something, but it's real dead bodies.
It is. But did you see like the other thing that happened with Kid Rock?
No. Oh, it's the helicopter.
That Pete Hegseth picked them up in an Apache. Like, you can't make this up,
that's like, 10 years of a little old black lady's tax fund. We just spend on helicopter fuel. Like, there's no accountability.
What is going on? Kid Rock needs an Apache ride, bro. Like, what? We live in an insane clown world, man. Insane clown world.
Dude. All right. Well, we got Matt Murphy joining us here in just a second. I want you to plug Ungovernable first, and then I'm going to plug 50percentoff.com. Tell them about beef tallow. Tell them about why they should have it. Tell them about the bioavailability, the vitamins, the suet, all of it.
So first off, I'm all in on the diet. So we're going to be supplying you with tallow. You're going to be cooking with tallow because this boosts your CLA. My girl actually lost 80 pounds just cooking with tallow. This is a fat that actually makes you lose fat. I know it sounds oxymoronic, but it's true. It boosts your CLA, so it boosts your metabolism. It's the best thing that you will cook with. You'll make all your meals in this. I promise you, once you buy the 16 ounce, because this happens with everybody. Once they buy the 16 ounce, they always buy the half gallon because they're like, I cook every single meal in this. I just started making my steaks in it. I just started making eggs in it. It was so good. I had to switch over to the half gallon. We also sell the highest quality skincare that you will find. It is completely bioavailable with your skin because it is a fatty acid. So that means it does not sit on top of your pores. It goes through. And that frankincense, that myrrh, the castor oil, it all goes through.
I took the last bit of this that I had last night, which in total was probably like, I probably like whatever the big one is, a tablespoon or teaspoon. A tablespoon. It's probably like a tablespoon left of the fat. And I just like massaged it into my forehead, and then I went down into like the bottom of my eyes, and I spread it around. I went under them and kind of around. I put it on my beard as well. And I woke up and I was like, damn, I need to remember to do this because I'm a lot less wrinkly than I usually am.
Yeah, dude.
And like you can feel it though, because it feels like a lot, like when we put on even a little bit, but then it's almost like gone in an hour. Like, because it's going through and absorbing. Maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and it's the elasticity. It's actually tightening your skin. It reverses aging. So that's why you're feeling that. And yes, it goes through your pores. So it doesn't just sit there. It doesn't just block your pores. It's non-cotomagenic. So it doesn't give you acne or any of these lies that they tell because they want you to buy petrochemical-based products. It is 1000% going through your pores, and all of the stuff that we put in it, we make sure are high quality, real raw ingredients, real frankincense, real myrrh. So it's giving you antiviral, antibacterial, antioxidants, everything that you need. This is our Sun Gazer toasted coconut sun cream. Okay. So this has an SPF of 25. It has real coconut pieces, non-nano zinc oxide, and cocoa butter. This is amazing. You don't want to put these cancerous sunscreens on your body that are literally giving you skin cancer. You want the natural product. And I promise you, if you get this, you will come to me and say, this smells amazing. This is helping me. This is helping my family. Because everything that we make at the Ungovernable Project is so we can go against the companies that are trying to poison you. This is why we do it.
We both make products so that we can make people smile. We both make products so that we can make people happy. Like, we're proud of what we create because we actually created it. And this is the thing. Me and Anthony, we do all our own manufacturing as well as all our own shipping. So nose to tail, the entire process, when you're getting this, he's literally creating it for you. He's creating it. No one had the idea but him. He's the one that actually brought that from being abstract into reality. And if you want to honor the American tradition of invention, innovation, creation, the best thing to do is when you need high quality products like this, you go to theungovernableproject.com and you check out the beef tallow, and especially just letting people know this is the stuff you got to cook with. And this is a lot better value than what you're going to get at the grocery store. This stuff is so high quality. But I also want to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of what I've got cooking. I want to tell you about jonescbd.com, because we're talking about making sure that the item smells great, is amazing, has this awesome feel. Nothing has a more awesome feel than Dreamwave PM before bed. Let me tell you what's going on here. You got 50 milligrams of full spectrum CBD. You got 3 to 6 milligrams of melatonin, half dropper, full dropper, and 50 to 100 milligrams of German CO2 extracted blue chamomile. So what's all important about that? Basically, this is the ideal blend, the ideal formula after you brush your teeth and wash your mouth out. You just put a little bit of it under your tongue. You go lay down, and it's like you got magical experience where you're at home and it's grandma taking care of you. She's got the sleepy time tea. She makes you the chamomile tea. You take a little sip of water. This beautiful aroma of the blue chamomile just fills your mouth. It fills your nose. It fills everything. And it's just so peaceful. And I wake up every morning now super refreshed because I take Dreamwave PM. And I encourage all of you as well to check out this product and all the other amazing products we've got at jonescbd.com as well. This is all 100% me. These are all 100% my ideas, my creations. I've brought them into reality, just like Anthony's brought his high-quality beef tallow into reality. What is Ultra Green Nano CBD? So traditional CBD is oil, right? So it's fat soluble, and that's between 8 to 12% bioavailability. Water soluble, emulsified with the nanolectin layer that we add to this, it brings it up to being 80 to 90% bioavailable. Wow. Now, with a formula like the Dreamwave, you say, well, it sounds like that should be nano too. Wouldn't that be better? Actually, it's quite simple to get the fat-based formulas to absorb. You just have to leave them under your tongue for a very prolonged period of time, like 10, 15 to 30 minutes, right? That's why we make this one taste especially amazing. So it's a fun, incredible experience for anybody that wants to try it out. However, a lot of people, they don't like that experience. They want the anti-inflammatory benefit. They want the strong punch from it. They want the anti-anxiety. You want to talk about anxiolytic, talk about Ultra Green Nano CBD. This stuff gets in your brain pretty much instantly. That's a verifiable scientific fact. You want Ultra Green Nano CBD. My grandma takes this for her back pain. She squirts it in some orange juice. She swallows it, and then boom, she's all better. According to her, that's her subjective experience. Ultra Chill AM blend. This was made with my father in mind. This is his formula that he wanted. It's got 200 milligrams of high-quality 4-to-1 ashwagandha extract. It's got theobromine in it, which is the cacao flavonoid, kind of a milder, longer-lasting caffeine. That's also what gives yerba mate that special feeling as well, combined with CBD plus CBG. And CBG is a cannabinoid that modulates CBD and makes it and all the other cannabinoids found in the full spectrum CBD blend more potent. So you're going to want to check out jonescbd.com. You can use code CBD for 20 to 40% off, depending on the product. I highly encourage you to go check that out. Use the discount code. And just throwing it out there, I just want to show you guys we got it available. The classic, the original, the tried and tested, the pure ultimate knockout from 50percentoff.com. This is a product that in its old InfoWars Life version sold hundreds of thousands of units. This essentially is an amazing catch-all blend that includes melatonin. You have melatonin, you have hops flower, you have lemon balm, you have GABA, you have L-theanine, you have magnesium. That's what I was looking to say. You have the same blue chamomile that's also found in that Dreamwave, makes it smell and taste amazing. You're going to want to get this product as well, especially if you're an early viewer and you remember the show back in the day. I mean, this got everything people take separately for sleep. all wrapped up into one. It's the ideal herbal matrix. It's not too strong. It's also not habit forming. It's what you want. So if you're looking for something for sleep, I just gave you an excellent breakdown.
There's
like, for example, if you
people in the chat real quick.
Job, you can take this. Go ahead.
There's people in the chat saying, do you guys still have the toothpaste? Yeah, they do. I'm 50%off.com.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, we got the toothpaste. And here's the thing. Dr. Jones Naturals, they're selling stuff. My granddad does not own that company anymore. Okay? So if you're going to get your toothpaste, you might as well get your toothpaste from me. I've got the classic Super Blue Peppermint non-fluoride toothpaste with iodine and the bubblegum version as well. I've got toothbrushes as well. Bundle and save, do all these things. Look at the supplements, guys. I've got Brain Force. I'm the only person in the world right now, except for maybe somebody on eBay, that's got Brain Force. So if you want Brain Force, if you want the traditional InfoWars Life Nootropic, you can get it here. And that's enough plugging for today. We're about to be joined by our guest. Really appreciate our guest for joining us. He's not here yet. Did you send him the link?
Yeah, I sent him the link. I told him to come in 9:05. I'll tell him to come in right now.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. No rush on any of that. But the reason why we do these things is because it's called life. It's called doing something that you're proud of, right? It's called doing something honorable. It's called doing business. It's not a dirty word. It's not a dirty thing to do. So I just learned from a kid that if I make the best supplement formula for you, you're able to support the show in the best way. And that's a deal I wanted to give you, the deal Anthony wanted to give you. But we're being joined right now by Matthew Murphy. I want Matthew Murphy, Matt, I want you to give a background on yourself. I want you to tell the audience a little bit about who you are, your experience, and then we're kind of going to get into the conversation of war crimes, of genocides, of all these things going around that people are just outright denying. Thank you for being on the show.
Right. Well, first off, thanks for having me, guys.
There he is.
We love it.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, guys, I was a Green Beret, retired from the military. And during that time, detailed to the CIA for about 5-6 years, worked on a project with them. So I did intelligence, or the human intelligence, and then, special operations, fought in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. And then also during that time, I was still in the military. 2019, I lost my younger sister, Sarah, to trafficking. She got bad on drugs. And worse the drugs get, the worse the people get, kind of dynamic. And she eventually ended up getting kidnapped November 5th, 2019. And then Christmas Eve, 2019, her body was found in a river in another state. And yeah, man, it was, it was hell, for the family to go through, all of us to go through. We had been through hell for a long time because of, heroin and fentanyl and all of that leading up to it, and just what it had done to her in her life. So my family experienced, that for about 4 or 5 years, with her. She just went through really tough time. And, COVID hit right after that. And I decided to start a charity to fight it called Operation Lightshine. Ended up partnering with Tim Tebow. We built task forces around the country, and we're fighting human trafficking. And, I think Anthony knows for sure I talk a lot of crap, and that's not good for the Tebow brand. So, what was it, summer 2023, I resigned from Lightshine, turned it over to Tebow's foundation, and then went and took the president role at the Sentinel Foundation. Same thing, a bunch of former CIA and Delta Force and Green Berets fighting human trafficking around the world. And I left there in beginning of 2025 to full-time pursue a career in the for-profit world. I've built intelligence companies, agencies, African intelligence agencies. We do targeting, manhunting, things like that. But now I also do some other stuff in the civilian world, just general consulting and all that. So, I've lived a lot of lives, done a lot of things. And now, I guess after Charlie Kirk died, I started to really speak out about everything because I'd seen behind the curtain. And here I am, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. Well, for me, man, like the reason why I got back into doing media, so I left InfoWars in 2020. And I smelled that there was something wrong with the whole Trump thing, but I didn't have the intelligence or the experience to put my finger on what it was. So I just stepped away, and I've been running my business for 5 years. I came back into this 6 months ago because of Ukraine, because I knew what had been going on in Ukraine, because I've been watching the news and reading the real news and hearing people like Gerald Celente since I was a little kid. So I was aware of what was going on. And I was like, I have to make my voice heard. I have to talk about this. This has been set up by the West, Victoria Nuland and all of it, getting into all that. We could spend an hour discussing it, but I get back into things because of Ukraine. And I just kind of find out about Gaza. I just kind of find out about the Palestinians. I just kind of find out about what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, even predating the 12-day war and all of it, I started to speak out. And I noticed a level of hatred that I hadn't seen from anywhere but, like maybe the most programmed people on the quote unquote left, but it was from all sides everywhere. It wasn't even based in any sort of ideology. It was the uniparty. Did you notice kind of a uniparty resurgence in the last couple of years?
Oh, definitely. And I'm seeing the antithesis of it too. But I think it's a direct reflect of the psychological warfare. They have been, this is programming, this is intentional. And I really started to notice it when I was starting to fight child trafficking, child exploitation, pedophilia, and all of that here domestically with our task forces. I had to start learning about a lot of things. So I had other things to talk about than kids in cages, on podcasts, right? And how these kids were ended up in cages, how kids were being trafficked. So when you look at when you start to look into how children are being affected by social media, by programming, by these video games, and even just the cartoons and the movies, and it's subliminal messaging, it's subconscious programming that then all of that combines together to steer your conscious, and that actually affects your life more than you know. Your child could be watching TV in the safety of your own home now and being programmed by the government, right? So then you start to look at, okay, what's happening to adults, right? So it's a collective, man. It's a collective now where you have this division of what I like to call of hopium and what America used to be, combined with people that are awake to what America is becoming. And then you have the extreme youth, I would say, 14, 15 and below, that are literally about to just grow up AI controlled minions.
May I interrupt really quick?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the two things that really scares me that we're about to be up against, right? You talk about the kids like 14, 13, 11, 12 that are going to grow up, and it's literally like, I mean, they called us iPad kids or whatever, Gen Alpha. It's a whole new world, it's a whole new hellscape. I also look at it, you have that coming up against those people becoming 18, 19-year-olds and being able to vote, combined with Trump being gone. Because for the past 12 years, it's been all about Donald Trump. Not one break, not one moment. It's like a giant show that everyone's been watching. Maybe you can get into that in part of the programming, right? Because if you turn on to him, whether it's hating him or loving him, that's all that's ever discussed. Never any of the transnational capital interests and manipulative groups that you fight against, all of it. It's all just focused on one man. So that when that drops away, and when you get this ultimate low propensity voter population that starts engaging in the political process, they're going to have this opportunity to raise up this false system so quick. It'll be like that. And then we have to be there from day one to fight against it. Maybe speak to that. I know it's a little abstract, but you're making me think here.
No, I mean, it's a combination of things. So I've talked a lot about on my social media, the Maxwell publishing game. So that was really the first monopolization and propaganda campaign and manipulation of humanity, was that Maxwell Publishing through Robert Maxwell Mossad, and his daughter was Ghislaine Maxwell, no coincidence there. But they monopolized thought. They monopolized education, scientific publishing. They really took history, rewrote it. Who knows what they've done with science, mathematics, with just framing our base level intelligence, right? Our knowledge, right? So you had that going on, and as school books started to phase out, now you have the internet, right? So now you have everyone using Google for everything, and using, and whatever Google indexes is the truth, right? So they take you, right? The top few links, they're taking you where they want to go. They say it's the advertisers, right? But they're taking you where they want you to digest information, where they want you to read it. And Google monopolized thought, essentially. Like, did you Google it? That used to be the thing. Have you given it a Google?
Yep.
Well, then we went to AI, and now on Google AI, so you Google something now, and instead of getting to the links first, you get to Google AI's opinion first, which tells you like the summation of thought, right? Well, is it the summation of thought, or is it the algorithmic guidance of what you should think on this topic? And so you start to see all this happening. But again, how we talked about Maxwell Publishing, collectively monopolizing thought, education, and our knowledge, our history. Well, now they're doing it again. You know, who owns Google? Who owns almost all AI? Who owns most platforms? It's all people that are Zionism, foundation, and it all ties. All roads lead back to Zionism and Israel on this one for technology. So, again. When you look at like the collective part about like Trump, for instance, that gives you're building that propaganda engine, because just as much as you have to create love, you must create hate. Propaganda only really works if you have two conflicting sides going,
and they're not so far away from each other.
Not at all. Well, it's a simple thing now, right? We've gotten so polarized, and it's idolization, really, right?
Yeah.
I believe in Jesus. I found Jesus after I lost my sister. It's been a journey. I was a heathen for a long time, and I'm trying to be better every day. But in finding Jesus, having that faith and starting to see outside the box, stop idolizing my country. Now, I'm an American. I fought for this country. I'll always fight for America. I'm a patriot, but I don't idolize a man anymore. I'm not watching in the NFL and putting another man's name on my back, wearing their jersey. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, the bread and circuses, once I found Jesus, went away. Right.
Absolutely.
And so
beautiful.
But for a lot of America, Trump is that savior. He's their Jesus, right? He's the guy that's going to make America great again and do all of these things.
We talk about that all the time. He's their God.
You know when I recognize that, honestly, I don't know if you remember this, but when he came out with that AI Gaza video where he had like golden statues of himself and he's on
Trump
the beach
Gaza.
with Trump Gaza. He has all the women with the beards and he's laying on the beach with Netanyahu. And this is before like he really started to show who he was. That's when it first, like, because I was really deep into Trump and Q, and 9 years I supported this guy, whatever. But when I saw that, God kind of shook me, and he's like, "You see what you're doing, right? He's showing you he's building a golden idol of himself, and you are worshiping him and not me." And I had that same realization,
No, that's his Olympus, right? And they're showing that to you, and that's what you're supposed to accept. And that's things like the worship of our military power has gotten to a point where it's a religious thing. We call other nations theocracies. What's take the speck out of your eye, take the log out of my own, or whatever the saying is from the Bible of what Jesus said. It really is quite nuts. And we say, oh, the Ayatollah, he runs around with a big club and he bonks the women on the head if they don't wear the hijab. Well, Netanyahu is trying to establish a greater Israel and rebuild the third temple. Yeah. So you can't hold that position in isolation. If we're against theocracy over there, we should also be against theocracy over here. And if a theocracy can't have nuclear weapons because it's all based on their theology and they're crazy, well, these people think that they're going to rule the world. So what are we supposed to do?
One of the things that you say, Rex, that I love is that you said that there's no the separation between church and state, but there's no separation between temple and state. We're watching this happen. Synagogue and state, like our country is becoming Jewish, to say the least.
What do you think? What do you think, Matthew, as somebody that is that veteran profile and has served, what do you think about a guy like a Brian Mast, right? Who lost both his legs, but he's in the halls of Congress wearing his IDF uniform.
Right.
What do you think of that?
It's embarrassing. And again, we have no idea what level of control they have over him, what brainwashing has happened to them, right? So when I try to have grace for a lot of people, but I also understand the second I always try to be kind. I always have to have grace. But the second you cross me or threaten my children's future, my country, or just my safety, well, game on, And so that's why I've chosen to speak out right now and really fight this. So it's a difficult thing for people because, again, the idolization of Trump, the idolization of the military, the idolization of certain veterans. We put people on pedestals, right? We put people on pedestals based on what they've done. Now, I don't want to discount and take away from anyone's service, right? He lost his legs, right? And so if you look at a psyop, if you have a perfect guy to utilize, to manipulate, to control, to use for your agenda, it doesn't get any better than the guy who lost both of his legs serving this country, right? Because who can say anything to him? It's like the Erica Kurt thing. How dare you speak about a widow?
It's like my dad. Mm-hmm. It's like with my dad and the families. How can we take his free speech away because these people have the worst thing in the world happen to them. So you have to punish the mean evil man, even though it violates his rights. It's the same exact principle.
100%, man. And that's again the dynamic of psychological warfare. They put somebody up that either through your ideology, your morals, your values, or your belief structure, you can't challenge them, right? And so that basically then they can get away with a lot. Same thing with Trump. That's how he's the savior right now. It doesn't matter what Trump does, what he says, how derogatory it is, how evil it is, how war crime, Geneva Convention violation, evil it may be, how genocidal his thoughts or his threats may be. Go Trump, right? It's just like it's madness, man. I really look at back and think about my service, right? And when I joined the military, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, Toby Keith song playing in the background, we're gonna put a boot in their ass, and that's why I joined. I'm gonna go kill some terrorists, and then I get over there at my first trip to Iraq, and I'm in Sadr City, Iraq. This was the war in Sadr City, and it was pretty chaotic to say the least. And I realized really quickly my value to the American military when I'm walking in front of a truck kicking things to see if it blows up.
Wow.
And we weren't supposed to kick it, but at some point you're like, dude, fuck this shit. Sorry, I'm probably didn't mean to cuss.
No, you're all right. You're good. Swearing is fine.
So yeah, man, it's a difficult thing as being a veteran, right? And I have a lot of people attacking me now as a veteran, saying, "How can you not defend our country? And you're not a patriot. You're a liberal. You're a Kamala Harris supporter." If I question Trump's actions, right? We've gotten to the point where we're so polarized in propaganda that no one is allowed to question the machine, or you can only question the machine, right? So even when I say, well, maybe this isn't all bad, or maybe there's some upside to this, and on the questioning side, everybody's like, so everyone's angry. Common sense, logic, reason, rationality, the ability to see both sides or multiple levels of truth or multiple levels of lies is almost completely gone because we're all drinking the Kool-Aid in one shape, form, or fashion, right? Either it's the anti or for.
Yeah, I think those are really great points. And
yeah,
what do you have to think?
It's just it's crazy to me that you have the accolades of like somebody that actually went to go and fight in a war, and like you've seen the destruction of what happens, and you've no disrespect, but you feel played by it a lot. I know a lot of actual like badass veterans that are like, wow, I can't believe I fought in this war, and then you have the guy on the couch sitting there saying you're not a patriot, you're not this, you never fought for this country. It's the most insane thing ever. It's like, what did you do? Like most of these people never fought in a war. Most of these people never did anything, never seen death, never seen violence, and they're the ones criticizing people because, like you said, it's worship syndrome.
Yeah, no, I want to come in on that. I'm thinking so fast, I got to write down what I want to say, or else I'm going to forget to say it. So I don't know if you saw this, the Adam Sosnick, Dave Smith debate, where Adam Sosnick, Dave Smith, of course, is principled in anti-war. Adam Sosnick's argument is, you don't support the troops. You think the troops are terrorists. You're saying the troops are terrorists, because he's calling America, largest state sponsor, of terror. And his argument is like, and of course, that's objectively true. We look at ISIS, look at Al-Qaeda, look at Syria, for example, al-Shara, now al-Julani, or vice versa, former head chopper, head of Al-Qaeda, goes over and shakes Trump's hand. So objectively, that's true. But they want to make it out like you're insulting the little guy, like you're coming after the troops, when in reality, this is what the military is. Military is a tool, and the tool is used by the people that command and control it, right? So I'm Trump in the situation. I'm writing down something. Pin, stop writing. Like I'm complaining about the pin. I'm not complaining about the pin. I'm complaining about Trump. And we want to save American lives. 16 and a half gallons of blood. That's how much blood was in the 13 Americans that we lost. All right. In this war. So when they say there's no boots on the ground, when they say, oh, you're getting a discount, you're getting a good deal on all this, I want to spit in their face, metaphorically, of course.
But 100%. Man, it is so difficult for me, when I look back, because, I'm 42 now. I spent the majority of my life in foreign lands killing people that didn't really need to be killed. And the only reason that they were trying to kill me is because I was there to take away something from them or enforce on something on them that wasn't their life or their reality. Now, we all know that, 9/11, why it happened, right? And what the real truth of 9/11 was. And But at that time, I didn't, right? At that time, I thought bin Laden did it. At that time, I thought this was some, terrorists try to take
Right.
over destruction of the U.S. And they're playing the same card today, and then you learn that bin Laden was a CIA source, that three of the other hijackers were CIA sources, if not agents, that were recruited and trained. You learn how about all the Israeli connections, the dancing Israelis, the Israeli art students, how the controlled demolition went down. How one building just fell for no reason.
Two planes, three buildings.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think I've seen that on the internet somewhere. Anyways, my point is that in my youth, right? But so when you look at just how much we were lied to, but at that time, right? At that time, America was under attack, and Bush gave that speech standing on the rubble, and it just all of these things, this manipulation, this psychological warfare, got me to go fight. And then when I get there, I really realized once I get behind the curtain, I was working on a program where we were doing some things where a lot of those people later became ISIS, right? So when I saw behind the curtain and I saw who was really steering this, that's when it clicked, and it all came in for me that this has nothing to do with America. It has absolutely nothing to do with America. We have been globalized for a long time. I would say
Yes.
since the 1913 takeover of the Federal Reserve, or creation of the Federal Reserve, and then the Zionist takeover of the banking system. But they had already done that in Europe. So it globalized control of the banking system. But it's just been this slow, systematic setting the stage for globalization of the New World Order. That's what I woke up to. And the more that I've learned, most things are fake and gay. Most things are a show, right? But everything's not fake. Everything's not gay. They'll take one truth and then they'll change it. They'll distort it. They'll alter it. They'll take a lie and they'll make it look a little true. And then they'll change it, distort it, and alter it. So that's how all these things work. They play with your religion. They play with your emotions, your patriotism, your belief in the country, your hope for a better future, your hope that we're going to win. That's how Trump wins. But I had a lot of people because, working in the agency, I got to interact a lot with people from other, intelligence agencies, different dynamics, different militaries, even as a Green Beret too. And so you start to see that, we're all being fed different bullshit, right? We're all being fed different things. And then once you get behind the next curtain, you're like, oh, this is why. And everything comes down to it's not just Israel. I want to be very clear on this. Israel is a manifest destiny. It's a mechanism. It's a means to an end. But we're dealing with a deep state here. We're dealing with a deep state, a global oligarchy that's playing God, essentially trying to manifest destiny. And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, the big three religions. It's all some manifestation in that, but the pathway they picked, the if you want to call it the synagogue of Satan or Zionism, Satanism, whatever dynamic they picked, they're manifesting Jewish prophecy right now. And so when you look at Trump, a lot of people refuse to see this, but Zionists believe that Trump is Mashiach ben Yosef, right? So basically,
Yes.
he is or Messiah ben Joseph. And if you look into Jewish prophecy, it's widely believed that he's the one with his military and his building knowledge. Oh, you're right. What a coincidence, that is going to use his military to set the stage for the true Messiah, the descendant of David, to appear. But in order to do that, there's a few things that have to happen. They have to sacrifice a perfect red heifer. That happened in August of last year. They burnt it. They sent its ashes with a little bit of water to all the people in the Zionist club around the world for the cleansing
Adam
ritual.
King.
Yeah,
I've
there you
seen him.
go. Yeah, man. And so they've already done that. So they've already pushed play, essentially, right? The red heifer was pushing play. The other part is they had to bleed the red heifer and then take its blood, mix it with some ash and I think some dead dude's ashes too, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have to anoint all the pieces of the third temple with that. So the pieces to the third temple have to be built in a certain specification and then anointed before the temple is assembled. So they've done that somewhere because I don't know how long blood lasts. So that's already gone down. But then the next part is they have to secure the lands, the biblical lands of Canaan, the promised lands, which is, obviously Israel, excuse me, not Israel today. You have Lebanon, you have Jordan, Palestine, you have parts of Iraq to include Babylon, about a third of Syria, northern Saudi Arabia, and then Egypt from the Nile to the east, right? So that whole area has to be secured because those are what they believe are the biblical promised lands. So they're calling that now Greater Israel. Once they secure Greater Israel, somewhere in this mix, then they have to build the third temple. once they build a third temple, then their Messiah, it's like the field of dreams for manifest destiny. If you build it, he will come, you know? So when you look at what Trump is, they believe his Messiah ben Yosef. All right. So basically he's going to use his military to secure all of this and allow all this to happen, which is happening as we speak. And then he's going to build the third temple. So it's like, I mean, are they wrong? And then the other funny fact, and I'll shut up, is that Messiah ben Yosef is supposed to have his right ear clipped by God. Right. And that's supposed to be the signal or the designation that he is indeed the Messiah. Then also, if you look at Jewish gematria, now I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I've looked at other guys who are experts in this. The number system, Trump and a Messiah are like a 1-for-1 in Jewish gematria.
Yeah.
So there's just coincidences.
Yeah, it's mysticism. I mean, honestly, like when you look at everything, and this is how they're able to play the Christian Zionists. But this is why it's so important for real Christians to step up and understand that there's a new covenant, that Jesus Christ created the new covenant.
He's the fulfillment of it.
Exactly. He's the fulfillment of it. And the people that follow Christ are the chosen people. And this whole entire animal sacrifice and all of this is not needed at all because the perfect sacrifice already came, the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ. And people are getting tricked by Paula White and Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. And we need to express this to people more than anything, that there is a new covenant. Read the book of Hebrews, read the New Testament. There was, I forget his name, but there was an Orthodox father that just came out with a great video talking about the Old Testament. I don't know if you guys saw that. The guy with the ponytail. I forget his name.
Josiah, I think.
Josiah, you saw it where he was talking about like we really don't need the Old Testament. We know that it's the personification of Christ coming and it's the prophecy, but we don't really read into it. And all these people that use this talking point of, oh, if you don't bless Israel, you'll be cursed. This is in Genesis. This is the first book of the Bible. There's so much more. Let's read through the whole thing. Let's read through the Old Testament where the house of Israel is being punished through the whole entire thing. For example, you made a
go to Babylon.
About Ezekiel, where they're talking about all the things that's happening in Ezekiel. One of the things that happens is the angel of God or whatever takes Ezekiel to look inside of the temple. There's a hole in the temple, and he sees that all the elders are with one of the young sons, and they all have their scepters, and I believe some pedophilic kind of thing was going on, right? Like this Epstein thing has been going on for thousands of years. This is who these people are. They worship Moloch.
What all this stuff is, what you're describing or talking about, the religious theocratic element to it, to the psyop, to the propaganda. Another word for all that is sympathetic magic. Yes. So like that's what all this stuff is in reality. Is they're messing with the code of the universe in a way that they're not allowed and not supposed to be doing. And that's what lying is on this grand mass industrial stage. It's magic. They're trying to conjure an alternate reality, and they want to make us live in that reality when like all we have to argue for is our position because it's the truth. All we have to argue for is peace, liberty, and freedom. They have to sell you slavery. They have to couch it in these terms, couch in a religion, do whatever, pervert our faith with the Schofield Bible, run this program on the boomer population, and then look at the result. It's a different religion. It's a cult. It's not even Christianity. Like I don't consider Mike Huckabee to be a Christian. I think that's absurd.
No. Well, it's Satanism. And so Satan doesn't have to get you to believe in him. He just has to get you to not worship or believe in God. Right. So Satan doesn't need you to follow him. So there's these universal laws that they have. And the key one is that they have to get you to accept it. You have to give them, permission. That you have to allow it. Right. So, and they get you to allow it by deceiving you, by magic, by mysticism, witchcraft, all this stuff to get you to accept, to get you to literally, and look at what America's doing right now with Trump and all the things that are happening. They're literally accepting their demise, accepting the control, accepting the systems. I mean, Trump's already passed all the, Palantir stuff. Even if you go back to his first administration, he put Palantir and hundreds of millions of dollars into the
Project Stargate, 500 million. It's the first thing we do. We got to give it to OpenAI.
100%. But I'm just saying, it's like the writing's on the wall. The truth is there, but they idolize him so much they refuse to believe it. They refuse to see it. Palantir just took over. I don't even know what they're going to be doing, the tracking or control of the farmlands. Yeah. So you're giving a system which could arguably be the Antichrist system, control. And a lot of the creators of AI say that it's demonic. that it's once you create some type of artificial intelligence, it's demonic intelligence, because you're giving another entity, another power, the ability to, manipulate thought. Because it's not really that the AI doesn't work unless you will use it. AI doesn't work unless you allow it. We've allowed it into existence. We've openly taken AI into our homes by using Chat GPT. We've openly taken AI into controlling our children's lives by allowing them to use it in our schools. So we've accepted it. They've created it. We're the ones who have chosen to use it. We've chosen to not use our own brains, use our own thoughts, use our God-given intelligence. We've allowed AI to start making decisions for us. So that's how dangerous it is. It's a slippery slope. It's like pornography, And I struggled with this a lot, man, being a military guy, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't have a filter. When you're overseas and you can't get any, I mean, you start watching porn, and next thing you know, everybody's passing hard drives with porn on it around when you're deployed.
Right.
And it's innocent because you're just,
I think we're all guilty of. I think we're all guilty of that.
Of course.
And that's the thing, is like, and being honest, and that, like, that's our position as well, as like, we're all sinners. Like, we're all wicked. Like we're not casting stones here. We're not trying to kill other people in other countries, because we're trying to fix ourselves. And that's the thing. It's like, we're trying to put our sin onto somebody else. There's always got to be somebody else that we're attacking. We can never look at ourselves in the wreckage of what we've done and what we're responsible for, both on a personal and on just a country and global wide scale. I mean, that's what America is. It's the sunk cost fallacy. It's a 30-year-long sunk cost fallacy of, we're going to figure it out this time. And all it's done is resulted in more death and destruction of lives at home. I mean, we talk about all these things, and obviously the key thing, of course, is the Gaza genocide, is the murder of civilians around the world, but particularly in the Middle East and places like Ukraine, other places like that. But if you look at the domestic impact, they want to take hope away from people. They want to make you feel like you're not even a human being anymore, like you're just this rat that's got to go through these series of mazes, because everything's so hard to survive and the news is so terrible and it's so tough and it's so difficult. Wouldn't it be nice if you were just on the EPA climate study and we gave you UBI and we tracked all your carbon credits, and we knew how much you ate, we knew how much you drove, we knew how much you slept, we knew how much you breathed? Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's going to be the system for everybody coming up soon. I don't know if you've heard about this, what I'm referencing here. There's a giant EPA study being done right now where they've put people on this like controlled income. And when the Democrats come back and the Republicans are like, you must vote for us in the midterm or else Democrat come back. You don't want Democrat come back, do you? Well, the false dichotomy that you've set up, Trump actually is ushering them in. It's almost like he wants that to happen, right? And when those people come in, they're going to say Trump was so bad for the climate. He cut so many regulations. And hey, the AI is taking everyone's job anyway. It's time for you to sign on to the computer. And people like us need to be like, we need to be like this. Hold on, wait a minute. 5-6 years ago, we were living just fine. We didn't need any of this garbage that you're pushing on us. I don't need a self-driving car. I don't need a Tesla. I don't need Chat GPT. You forced this on us, and even more so than that, it's a plagiarism of all of your thoughts and dreams, everything you've ever done, ever published, ever created. It scans it, it scalps it, it steals it, and then it regurgitates it to you. And then people are like, it's smarter than me. And it's like, it's you, it's everybody. And that's what makes it demonic, is the demons get to you through your thoughts. That's what it is.
It's also a double entendre, because if you think about it, it's called the beast system in the Bible, right? What do these people see us as? They see us as cattle. They see us as beasts. So they're setting up this system to control their beasts. Right. You're
not ensouled.
Yeah.
You don't have a soul.
They're putting us in the corral. They're watching over their cattle. They're making sure we're tagged. They're making sure that we're on our antibiotics. They're making sure that we're running correctly so we could be slaughtered.
Vaccines.
Correctly. Exactly. It's a double entendre. I just want to say something too about the porn thing, is that it's a proven thing that they weaponized porn in Gaza. They put it on all of the TV screens in Gaza. Like, this is a real thing the IDF did. The only thing that the Palestinians could watch in Gaza was porn. Okay, so that should tell you who started porn, why they used it. They used it as a weapon. So I just want to.
We used it. I didn't even know about this.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
I didn't know about this. Please tell me about this.
Yeah, they literally put porn on every single TV in Gaza. That's the only thing that they could watch.
We've used porn as a weapon long before that. So we even used it during the Iraq War. So the way we destabilized Iraq was not, and created the Arab Spring, was not with bombs and bullets. It was with porn and friends.
Yes.
So if you look at a culture, if you really want to look at how like a psychological warfare, but an unconventional warfare campaign works, is you have to destabilize the religion, the moral constructs, and the framework of society, the norms, right? So if you look at the Middle East before America showed up with porn and friends, women weren't oppressed. They were, doing what God said, right? Because in Islam, for their God, they needed to cover up. Their beauty was only for God and their husband, right? And for men, you couldn't touch a girl. You weren't dating. You like until your dad said, I met with, Jasmine's dad, and you two can get married. You weren't touching a girl, and they protected their women. Now I get it. There's radical versions where there crazy things happen, but I'm talking about majorities here, right? And Islam, that was the norm. So when we came in, we put porn on every TV and every channel too, right? And basically flooded the cell phones with porn. That's why they made free porn. It wasn't free porn. It was like kryptonite. It was your destruction. So these kids that have never seen a naked woman, that have never even seen even like a JC Penney like flyer. I remember when we were kids with like the women in the lingerie, they had never seen that. Right now they've got hardcore porn on their phones, and I'll never. Like it took me years to really realize this, and once I got to the CIA, I was like, oh, oops. But even the Iraqi soldiers all the time would be showing me on their phone, like a girl getting pounded from behind. They'd be like, look at this, because they had never seen this stuff before, and they're like, Matt, look. Like I should get excited about this as they are. Like, man, I got a hard drive full of that crap, but I'm already destroyed. So if you look at it like that dynamic, now the men are, what are they doing? They're not being destructed like or destroyed like American kids are, where porn is desensitizing them to not even want sex. They're getting horny now. They're wanting to go find a girlfriend. They're wanting to have sex before marriage. They're wanting to start breaking all these rules, and that started to what make men start to destabilize Islamic society, because now they're going out there and breaking the rules. They're changing the game. Well, for women who were happily covered up and doing what they're supposed to do, and living that Islamic version of how a woman should be, now they're watching Friends. Women are driving cars. Women are eating at the dinner table with men, or are buying their own things, living in their own apartments, having promiscuous sex, doing whatever they want to do. And while it's like, I'm not saying that that's wrong in a sense, but I'm also saying what that's totally against their culture. Like I believe women should be allowed to live their life, right? But what's that do? That makes the women start to challenge everything, because now they're seeing a totally different way of life. They're seeing that westernized, that Judeo way of life, where women can just bang whoever they want, do whatever they want, all that kind of thing. So it took about 10 years of that. And then you have the Arab Spring. And the next thing you know, they're literally dragging dictators out of their homes, burning things down, uprising against this Islamic oppression, which had just been their way of life for thousands of years. So it was an intentional psychological destruction. And yes, we use pornography, because pornography, it doesn't just make you a degenerate in a way. It literally destroys your brain. The dopamine hits and pornography, the destruction and the damage that it does to your brain, it doesn't just affect your sexuality, it affects everything. The studies on porn are worse than heroin on the damage and the effects to your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is like history repeats itself. Look at Weimar Germany. They were trying to do it there, and we don't have to get into the painter and all that, but that's what happened over there. And also, I don't know how true this is, but you could probably tell me about this. I heard in Afghanistan, one of the things that Obama did was he sent them gay flags and soybeans. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's literally showing that like we need to break these people. We need to make them degenerates. And this is what we're trying to do in Iran. This is why we have these people that are like pushing for Reza Pahlavi, because they want to have these women be OnlyFans. Yeah, they want to have them as OnlyFans. They want to have porn on their TV. They want to have Netflix shows where there's gay interracial couples. Like, this is what the Western civilization stands for. And it's because of Israel.
I like. Sorry to interrupt. I don't. No,
you're good.
Go ahead.
Good. I'm sorry. No. That's my point.
The thing I like is the promise that we're going to give them this secular world, when in reality we're going to give them Libya. We're going to give them open air slave market. Yeah. Like the promise itself is a lie, and like that's people like. I think the West should export the democracy. I think we are the best. We never export democracy. We export death. We export slavery. I mean, look at what happened. Gaddafi criticize him, say whatever you want about him. Highest standard of living in Africa, wanted to create a new gold standard, a new petrodollar. Can't do that. What does Hillary Clinton do? We saw he died. They shoved a bayonet up his ass. They sodomized him to death. And now there are open air slave markets. So when Mark Levin, when Lindsey Graham openly, proudly talk about the Libyan model for Iran, which is something that they do, that's what they're talking about. So imagine like the betrayal of the people, even more so. Like, we're going to arm people. We're going to give them weapons. We're going to give them FPV drones. We're going to give them like internet connection, be able to connect with the U.S. Israeli intelligence. They're going to get killed because it's an armed revolt. It's an insurgency by its definition. And then the Americans are able to go, oh, they slaughtered all the protesters. We have to do ground invasion.
100%. That's what we do,
crazy.
man. You know, that's
not wrong. You know?
No, that's unconventional warfare. You're right. You're spot on. You know, the most of the world calls us the great Satan because of that.
Right.
Yeah, you know, if you just look at if you follow Jesus and you look at the general rules of the Bible, right? You know, the golden rule and how Jesus lived, and
you want to others as you would have them do to you.
Right, exactly, right. And God created one man and one woman, and we're supposed to find our wife, however that happens, and then that's the only woman you have sex with, and she's the only man that that she has sex with, and then you only sleep with each other, and that's that covenant, and that's what keeps you together, is that sexual relationship, and that's what allows you to procreate and build a family, go forth to multiply, and then keeps that family bond strong. Well, now look at the world, Western culture, and I played into this when I didn't have Jesus, right? I've got kids all over the place, man, from being a Green Beret. And I don't say that lightly or laughing now. Like, I do the best I can as a dad, but I did not live a good life. I was just having sex and fighting wars and partying, right? That was, every war I was going to fly off.
You're a soldier.
I could die.
Warrior. That's what you were doing. So
100%, man. But I found Jesus and cleaned my life up. My point is that the American culture is the antithesis of the way Jesus taught us to live. And all of the things that we have are the destruction of the family, the destruction of sexuality, the destruction of the most important things that Jesus gave us, right? And said, hey, if you do it this way, if you live this way. I mean, even the church, I go on rants about this all the time. Jesus didn't come to give us a religion. He came to give us forgiveness, grace, and love, and forgiveness with repentance. He came to give us salvation, not to build churches, not to create institutions of man's control. It was if you even look at the Bible, and I'm sorry, I'm on a little rant, but I think this is really important for Christians to find their faith again, and follow Jesus again. If you look at the Bible, especially the what we have as the New Testament, the books they allowed us to find, right, that aren't locked in the Vatican somewhere, every single book of the Bible was originally written by one author in one language. So one author in one language, Koine Greek, was the language it was written in. And the books of the Bible were written between 30 to about 120 years after the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ in one language, right? Koine Greek. And that's a very difficult language to translate to English. But if you look at this whole process now of Christianity, the religion being created, going back to Orthodox Church, to Catholicism, well, the church Constantine created in Rome, the Council of Nicaea that created the first canon of the Bible, and then that became Catholicism, and all the branches and everything since, from one book, one original book, one original language. There are over 900 different translations of the Bible in English alone, which means 900 different ways of saying one thing. And there are over 41,000 denominations of Christianity. So is that what God did, or is that what man did? Is that what the devil did? So what I try to talk to people about a lot is to go back to the original Koine Greek writing. Look at how many different nouns, or how many different ways you can translate a noun. Look at how many different ways you could translate that verb. Start to pray about it. Start to really read it and try to instead of developing a relationship with your pastor, who you don't know why he's up there on that stage, or develop a relationship with your Presbyterian, dogma, or your Baptist principles, or whatever it is. Develop a relationship with Jesus and find out what Jesus actually said, and go back and really look at what all the possible things in all these verses are. Because the great lie, the great deception, if you will, that allows the Antichrist comes to power doesn't just come from the manipulation of the world and evil. It comes from the manipulation of the church. If you look at Revelation, it talks about the 7 churches. It talks about, it doesn't mean the buildings, the groups of people, the schools of thought of Christianity. And it talks about what they did good and what they did bad. Right. And so if you look at what Jesus is saying about, hey, this church, this group of people, all right, you guys did it pretty good. You did all right. And this group of people, man, y'all effed up, And so my point is, if you really look at that, God's showing you the groups of Christians that will be here during Revelation, during the end times. Well, how do you get there? Deception. So deception starts from the manipulation of God's word. And why would the Schofield Bible be made by Jews and funded by Lord Rothschild in 1913, right? And why would they, how hard would it be for me to change the translation of a Bible? People are like, Matt, God's word is God's word and it shall not be infringed, and I'm like, well, I mean, why are there 900 translations? Why are there 41,000 denominations? And if you look at, like, for instance, I'll just give you one example, Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, when it talks about the synagogue of Satan, right? And, those who say they are Jews, but are not, is what it's written as in English in most Bibles today. But Jesus didn't say Jew. If you go back to the Koine Greek and the word that they translated to Jew now, it was Udeus. Udeus is the Koine Greek word for the tribe of Judah, a Judean, right? So Judeans didn't practice Judaism. Judaism was created in Mesopotamia between 300 to 600 AD. He was talking about his people, the tribes of Israel, the descendants of Jacob, where his mother Mary came from, that she was a Judean. He's saying the people in the end times, the synagogue of Satan, the people who will do this to the earth, the people who set up the Antichrist, they're not going to be pretending to be Jews. They're going to be people pretending to be God's chosen people, the former chosen people. And when Jesus said Israel, he was talking about his followers, his church. Israel was never, ever a land.
We're Abraham's seed through the new covenant because Jesus makes us all able to reach theosis, to be like God. Because we're empowered by the Holy Spirit, of course. Yes.
I want to just pick up 1 second because there's an important thing that a lot of people miss, right? And it is the Gospel of John. So there's a part in the Gospel of John where the Greeks come to actually meet Jesus, right? Like the Greeks are looking for him. And what Jesus says when he goes to meet with the Greeks, he says, it is time for the Son of Man to be glorified. Okay. So what does that tell you? That tells you that I'm going to give them my word. And when they write my word in Greek, that's when I'll be glorified. That's how I picked that up. That's how, Christ put that on my heart. It's like, why is he saying that it's time for the Son of Man to be glorified? We know that, he knows that he's going to die and the temple will be raised up in 3 days. But he literally specifically says, and I want you guys to go look this up, everybody in the chat. It says it is time for the Son of Man to be glorified when he goes to meet the Greek. So that is really to your point of the Greek translation and how it got translated so many different times. Because Jesus told us right there, it's time for me to be glorified by the Greeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're totally fine. Do you want to make another point on this?
Well, yeah. So translation is just so important for Americans to understand. The Bible wasn't written in English, right? And so that English word today, when you read Jew, right, today as an American today, and you look in your Bible and you read Jew, it makes you think, oh, Israel. Right? Because the connotation of the way the world is today. Well, the Bible wasn't written today, and it wasn't written in English. It was written 2,000 years ago. So when you see Israel, that doesn't mean Israel, the state, as you know it today. What was Israel back then? Israel was the descendants of Jacob, the Israelites, right? So it's I think, crucial if we're going to follow Jesus, if we're going to, live by his word, that we know it, not the deception, not the English, not the what your pastor told you, because he was taught the same load of crap in seminary. And who owns and funds most seminaries? I'll digress. But
yeah, no, 1000%, man. And I think, like I said, the most important thing is for people to understand this, because if they don't, they'll have what, it says in, I believe in Revelations about like the great falling away. And where I think the great falling away will come in is, I think by them faking all of this prophecy that these people think that are going to happen, because a lot of these Christian Zionists allow the genocide, allow the third temple, allow the Zionists to run rampant, is because they believe Jesus Christ is coming back. So let's say that the Zionists get their way, they build the third temple. Let's say, my personal opinion, Jared Kushner is the Antichrist and he's worshipped, because in the Jews' belief, they don't believe he's a spiritual man. They believe he's a world leader. That's what they believe as the Antichrist. So Jared Kushner kind of fits that mold for me as a world leader for the Jews and for the Zionist Christians. But after they build the third temple and all this happens, and it also says, I believe in the book of Timothy, there'll be a lot of scoffers in the last days. Where is God? Where is God? Where is God? So if they're faking prophecy right now, which I believe, which you believe, that they're faking prophecy, and they build the third temple and all this happens, and then Christ doesn't show up, how many people will fall away from Christ?
Oh, 100%. Well, it's everyone thinks that Jesus is just coming to save you when you believe he is, right? And there's all kinds of ways to manipulate scripture to make you think that. I mean, let's go back to the Bolshevik Revolution, and in the early 1900s. You had the Jewish Bolsheviks fresh off the writings of Moses Hess, who created Zionism and the eradication, or the concept, the eradication of Christianity and the white race. And you have his buddy Karl Marx, who wrote the Communist Manifesto to make Zionist Talmudic belief a government system around that. And then you have those two ideologies combined that go start the Jewish Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, right? They murdered 30 to 60 million Christians. This was less than 100 years ago, right? And murdered in gulags across all of Russia, murdered, raped.
If you believed in God, they say you were schizophrenic. They clapped you in
Yeah.
irons. I think it was Saint Gabriel. I may be getting this wrong, or an Orthodox saint. They burned his feet. They tried to make him renounce Christ. That's the type of stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah,
100%. That this could not be the end times. This could be just one more attempt at them trying to do exactly what they did with the Bolshevik Revolution. That was an attempt at Zionist Jewish supremacy. Right? They were going to make communist Russia then take over the world, and then they tried it again in Germany, and then the painter rose up. Right? So now we're seeing it happen one more time, but this time they've hijacked the United States of America. I mean, think about it. The Bolsheviks killed 30 to 60 million Christians, murdered, slaughtered 30 to 60 million Christians on the behest of Zionist belief, Zionist ideology. And then the United States of America partnered with them in World War II to defeat Hitler. Think about that.
Yeah.
Right. We partnered with the people who murdered 30 to 60 million Christians. So, we've been hijacked for a long time. I just think it takes a long time. If you look at people like Yuri Bezmenov, it takes a long time to realize how demoralized we are, right? And how well the process, has worked, because we are at a point right now. And again, if you look at Ezekiel and you look at why God kicked the chosen people out of the promised lands, it was idolization, the first one. And right now we have Judeo-Christian American and a lot of people I believe that are good Christians that just haven't woke up yet, idolizing Donald Trump, idolizing the United States of America, idolizing our military instead of idolizing Jesus. And I think if you really take a step back and you pray about it and you look to Jesus, then you will be able to, quote unquote, pull your head out of your ass and realize that we're all being deceived, that we are accepting sin, that we are accepting pornography, we are accepting artificial intelligence or the beast system, we are accepting our downfall, we are willingly walking into it, because at some point, well, Jordan Peterson, who I know is controlled, but he makes a really good point about how this happens. And it's a man on the road metaphor about basically how a man's on a road and he's standing in his principles and his morals and his values and his faith. And then the antagonist, the pusher, comes and he pushes the man, down the road. And he's pushing the man down the road. He might be taking away a moral or a value or, part of his faith, or deceiving him. And he pushes the man down the road to the point where the man is starting to protest. And then as the man's right about to fight, the antagonist stops. And once the antagonist stops, the antagonist doesn't go back 10 feet and take the man back to where he was. He stays there. And because the man on the road is a good man, the man on the road goes back because the antagonist stopped. Now he just goes back to living his life, loving his family, doing his job, paying his taxes, and all that.
And you're all the way down that road.
Yeah, next thing you know, right? And next thing you know, all the way down the road, and you don't even know how you got there. You've lost your morals, you've lost your values, you've lost your society, you've lost the framework and the foundation of your faith, your beliefs, and you're so lost. You're so messed up. And this is where I believe America is today. You're so distraught. You don't know what to do that we all, myself included, idolize Trump at some point to save
Yes.
us. And now that he's not, you don't know what else to do because there's no other hope. There's no other solution, right? And we all look to Trump to save us. And I think that's why so many people haven't got off the Trump train, because they really do believe that at some point he's going to save us. And
Hey,
hopium is a hell of a drug.
5D
no,
chess,
hopium
man. 5D
absolutely is.
chess.
No, go ahead, Anthony.
No, if it's 5D chess, they think that there's some plan that he's going to come and swoop in and save everybody. But I just want to pick up real fast on the demoralization thing, because this is a really good point to the left and right dichotomy. The left comes in with all this gay stuff, all this like demoralization campaigns and the interracial Netflix shows and all this stuff. And it makes the people on the right hate it so much that they'll accept anything that the right does. Right, because they think it's like, oh, and it's problem reaction solution.
That reminds me.
With the border.
That reminds me of the Trump quote from the book where he's talking about, getting tired from learning all the Talmud stuff, studying with his Kabbalah teacher, where his instructor tells him, he says, racehorses wear blinders. Racehorse, they can focus on running down the track because that's what's important. Racehorse wants to win, right? Well, what are we running down the track towards? Our own slavery. And I think that man on the road thing is such a beautiful metaphor. And it's very sad what's happened to Jordan Peterson. But I mean, this is what happens when things aren't grounded in Christ. When you can't at least go, I'm a wicked sinner and God wants better for all of us. If you can go, maybe I believe in God, maybe I don't. The morality's good. If you don't have total knowledge that Jesus Christ created the universe and set up this world, that we're breaking his rules, we're breaking his laws. That's why everything's going wrong right now. Then you can't change, you can't fix anything. And talking about Trump, talking about kind of him being this new Jesus figure, this false Messiah figure in people's minds, where they've replaced a God with him. Look at Butler, for example. When you criticize Trump, when you come after Trump, people will tell you God saved him. How dare you? How dare you go against God's will? This is the argument.
Yep.
You've heard that, right?
Well, it's manipulation, and I think the key tenet of this is that, like, if you look at life, whatever vocabulary word you want to describe it, a test, a journey, a trial, proving faith, right? Yeah, exactly. It's a process, but Jesus says we're in this world, not of this world. And if you go all the way back to the disciples were, a lot of them were heathens, before they chose to pick up and follow Jesus. And I think there's twofold for that is, when you look at a lot of people who find Jesus and who follow Jesus and stand for him the most, speak out and aren't scared, they're usually the men who have lived in sin, that have made so many mistakes, right? And all of us are born into sin, but some of us choose to do a lot more of it than others, right? And I've sinned so much, I've hurt so many people, not intentionally, right? But military, I don't believe in regrets, but I've hurt so many people. I've done so many horrible things to the world, and the group that I kind of helped to build is still doing some horrible things to the world. So when I look at that, it's like, does that make me not worthy of salvation? Does that make me not worthy of God's love and his forgiveness, his grace, right? So when I look at my life now, all of those things, that whole trial, God knew what was going to happen to Matt. He knew what was going to be, put on me, and the mistakes that I was going to make, and how many mistakes I would continue to make over and over again, until at some point you become not the best version of yourself. I truly believe is from learning from your mistakes, and understanding what your flaws are, your weaknesses, your vices are, and then doing everything you can to combat that. Am I saying from this moment forward I'm going to be perfect? No. From this moment forward, I'm going to try my best to be better, and I'm going to fall because I'm just a man. But so many people get lost in the sauce on that this is a trial, it's a journey. And if you look at the disciples, only one of them died peacefully in their bed. The rest of them were tortured and killed. Almost everyone who's, I don't like to say pick up the cross, but chosen to follow Jesus, to stand up and follow Jesus, has been persecuted, has gone through trouble in this earth, because we're in this world, we're not of this world. Our reward is not here, it's in heaven. Our reward is in following him. And so God knows what's going to happen next. Well, he does, right? But we don't. So my point is I don't really care. I just know that I'm going to keep following him, keep speaking out, keep standing up for what's right, keep trying to do my best to whatever I feel called to do by him or what road he has me on to make this world a better place. And I know I'm going to be persecuted for it. I know I'm going to hurt for it. I'm not thinking like, oh, if I follow Jesus, I'm going to get the Protestant pastor's version of a perfect life with the, the two, SUVs in the driveway and the big nice house and life's going to be great. To me, that's a little bit of selling out. I hate to say it, but I'm not saying God doesn't reward you, but at the same time, in the times we live in, a lot of Americans have sold out to the system, right? And they're just so dependent on the system. We all are. And they're so dependent on their job. They're so dependent on that paycheck coming in, the grocery store, the power to be on, the cell phone to work, all these things that they just don't have time to speak out. They just don't have time to say what's right. They don't have time to confront someone. Well, you know what? You can't say you follow Jesus and not live like Jesus, right? Jesus, they call Jesus a heretic in the Talmud and say he's burning in feces. But what Jesus did was Jesus spoke out. He challenged the system. He challenged the priests. He challenged the Pharisees. He even went in and flipped tables over and whipped people, for changing money in God's house. And God knows what else Jesus stood up against. Jesus stood up and challenged the system, challenged the devil, challenged the machine, challenged the leaders so much they crucified him. Right? Jesus was not a pussy. Right?
Yeah.
Jesus stood up for what's right. And then he got crucified.
Yeah, he was a Chad. He was a Chad. I think one of the most important scriptures, in my opinion, my personal opinion, is in Romans, that we all fall short of the glory of God, because we do. We'll 100%. Never be perfect. We'll never be perfect. And one of the things when I first really became super Christian is I was trying to be perfect. And I kept on falling, and I was like, God, I'm sorry. I just keep on doing this. And kind of heard the voice in my head of just saying every time that you fall in your imperfections, you fall closer to me. It's that's the learning process of we're going to keep on sinning. We're going to keep on falling. Pornography and all that stuff still plagues me. All that stuff does. I won't lie. I'm not perfect at all.
Something that I've really been experimenting with, I've always been more towards this. I'm a very peaceful, happy guy. I don't like to see people hurt. I like to see people to do well. I'm very too much so empathetic a lot of the time, but really going forward and just being like, hey, I'm going to open a door for somebody. I'm going to say something nice to somebody. I'm going to help someone out with their groceries. I'm going to do something. I'm going to mow somebody's lawn. I'm going to make somebody realize that we're all human beings. This is the thing. We're the dehumanization is the thing that strikes to the core of everything we're talking about right now, because Christ is about empowerment of humanity being what humanity is supposed to do, which is serve God. Yes. Right. And the rejection of that, we're trying to serve all these other things, whether that's money, whether that's sexual relationships, whether that's power, worldly power. None of these things matter. And our core tenets of what this country is supposed to be, we're supposed to be the country in the world, the first country in the world that gave its citizens, or didn't give its citizens, rights, that acknowledged the rights the citizens had given to them by God. That's what makes America special.
That's beautiful.
But beyond all the imperfections and beyond all the BS, this nation recognized the divinity of the human person through Christ. Amen. So that's what we got to focus on. That's what we got to be grounded in. In my activism, I'm a very passionate anti-war activist, very passionate pro-Constitution activist, First, Second Amendment, all of it, Fourth Amendment, all of it, of course. I'm just grounded in that. We have a system that honors, and honestly, not in all of it, of course, separation of church and state, it's not a religious institution, but in the spirit of empowering the people to be able to actually be like Christ. I think America was the nation that, according to its framework, I think we were the closest to that. And I think that's why we've been so attacked, in my
100%.
opinion.
Well, 100%. But if you look at, that dynamic, exactly what you just said, the Maxwell publishing, the manipulation and the destruction of our education, our principles, our founding, our values, the Constitution does not give you those rights. The Constitution acknowledges, like you said, your God-given rights. The Constitution lists those rights out, and it protects you from the government. Right. So I didn't take an oath to the government. The government did not give me my rights. When I joined the United States military, I raised my right hand and I took an oath sworn an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I did that, it was basically saying that this Constitution is my protection from you. right? It is protecting my God-given rights, my free speech, my liberty, my right to bear arms, my right to be able to live the American dream by protecting this document. The government does not allow me to be here. The government did not put me on this earth, and the government might take me out of this earth. But you know what? I know where I'm going when they do. So that is just the framework. I think when you look at school, when you look at what they're doing, people aren't taught that. That's not ingrained in them. I woke up every morning and had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I woke up and I got taught about the Constitution and the construct and the thought and the reasons that the Constitution was created and the arguments that the founders and the framers of the Constitution had. We were educated on that. Even back, what was that, 30 something years ago as children. Children aren't learning that anymore.
At all.
At all. So they don't even know. If you don't know what's worth living for, you sure as hell don't know what's worth dying for.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
100%. 100%, man. So we are in that time where America has been closer than ever, than being that one generation away, as Reagan said, from losing our freedom. I really believe we are living in that generation, and we are the adults, and we're the ones that have the ability to bring change. Because again, this system, their belief, the Illuminati belief, the deep state system, they cannot make us. We have to accept it. They could make it seem like we have no other choice. They can hurt people, they can kill people, they can make us suffer, but we do not have to accept it. And they believe this universal law in the universe is what they call it, because they don't acknowledge, right? They believe they win and defeat God. They believe they defeat the Creator, right? That this good force, as they call it, the framer of the universe, will destroy them if they don't follow this universal rule, which is make us accept it. And if you look at the story of Job, right? I think it's, even though I believe that God, Jesus came, made the Old Testament, the God of the Old Testament null and void, but that story of Job, that same God is basically, hey, that he allowed the devil to do this. It was a trial of Job's faith. Being a Christian is not easy. Being an American is not easy. Think about all the things that people went through to make this country what it is today. Just from, even like I made a post earlier, a joke about the Oregon Trail. Think about the hell that people had to go through just to expand out west.
There's a lot of blood on the ground.
100%. And now people won't, if the second you cut their Wi-Fi off, fuck, I quit. I really believe you have a lot of people in America, the power went out or the Wi-Fi went out or they couldn't get on their phone or access their Instagram, would literally bend the knee to whatever system wanted to control them. Our resolve, I believe, is gone. I do not believe we are ready for the hardships, and I pray and hope that I am wrong. But, it's coming. It is coming. And if you don't think it's coming, then I don't know what to tell you. The writing's on the wall.
Well, that gets into the whole topic of the collapse. You want to just close out the show with us?
Hey, I got time. Yeah.
All right.
I'm using the bathroom real quick. While you guys
all right. No, all good. We're going to get into a little bit of news here because, of course, the dear leader, every morning, I say this all the time, like all you have to do a show, like if you really want it to be low effort, is just like look at Trump and like follow his updates, because he tweets like 4 times a day. And it's always between the hours of like 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central. So like when we were doing the American Journal show at InfoWars, doing the morning show, it would just be, we'd get in there, we'd have our clip sheet, our cut sheet, had everything ready. And then the guys would run in with like 4 pieces of paper and they're like, you got to see what Trump just said. And then you're like, what's going on here? So I'll go ahead and throw this up. I want to get your reaction to it from Rapid Response 47. This is like an hour ago. Iran has just informed us that they're in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they'll be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, just another lie. That's what I read this as.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the other thing. Everything they're saying about the Iran war is fake and gay. So no, Iran is not in dire need. They're not in a state of collapse. Iran... This is, I don't want to go on a tangent too much, but it's very important.
We got time. We got an hour, bro.
Okay. So Iran is a a Persian nation. So there's a lot of Persian pride. They've been here way before America was ever founded. They've been there for thousands and thousands of years, right? They've lost their country, they've taken it back. They've lost their lands, they've taken it back. You go through. So these people, there's a lot of pride. They teach their people history. They teach their people that pride. It's ingrained in them. On top of that, Iran is majority Shia. Shia Muslim is like more of the martyrdom side of Islam.
Right.
So it's about 95% Shia. So they believe, they're like, hey, kill me. I'll die for Allah all day because I know what these promises are. So you have 95% of the country that believes that way. Also, Iran has dealt with MI6, CIA, and Mossad flipping their government multiple times, right? We installed the Shah, right? Then we took it over and then, flipped in and we placed the Islamic Ayatollah in leadership. We allowed that to happen because that chaos is what allows America, and this is super important for Americans to understand, keeping the Middle East in chaos stops them from becoming a global superpower. It stops them from using their oil to take everything over, and it allows us to force them to trade their oil in the US dollar so we benefit, they don't. Right.
And that's the petrodollar. That's the new, we moved away from gold. Now it's backed by oil. And that's why we preserve these wars through the empire. That's like, I view Israel as like our capital. Like you've seen the Hunger Games, like you got all the districts, you got the capital. That's literally what it is. It's our 51st state in the Levant. Like that. It's that simple, folks. It's really not that hard to understand. I want to play a video because we've had a very deep discussion here today. People want the news blitz. They want to see the new current clips. Our resident character, Mark Levin. All right, Matt, I want to get your reaction to this. And Anthony, I'll shut up after. I want to get your reaction as well and play it through.
First time things like this have happened, but
hold on one second, guys. It's not sharing my audio. We got to talk a little bit longer. I think I made the basic mistake.
It was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I heard it. It would play and then stop.
Yeah, you stopped it.
Okay. All right. Maybe it was just on my end. All right. I'll just go ahead and play it.
First time things like this have happened,
not
but
on the
it
screen
really
now,
is
though.
problematic because so much of it is protected. And you heard people say, don't you believe in the First Amendment? They don't even know what the First Amendment believes. Oh, do you want to deplatform people? The libs do that. I don't have any problem with deplatforming Nazis or jihadis. I don't have any problem with deplatforming them. What does that mean, deplatforming them? A government law? No. It means that X or Twitter or Facebook or Amazon with Twitch and so forth says, you know what? You're a lowlife. We're not paying, get off our platform. What's wrong with that? It's called private enterprise. I got no problem with that. I mean, what if they have this horrific pornography on it? Is that okay? No, it's not okay. What if they have a bunch of drug addicts, shooting up all the time? Is that okay? No, that's not okay. Because our kids have access to it. People who are impressionable have access to it. What if they have people screaming at the top of the lungs saying, assassinate this guy and assassinate that guy? Well, they shouldn't do that. Why? What's the standard? You need to have a standard. What should the law be? What does the Constitution say?
Doublespeak.
The Constitution says, Mark, you're not allowed to incite violence. You're not allowed to yell a fire in a crowded theater. Something like that would be an example. Another example would be you're not allowed to commit defamation, stuff like that. You get sued in civil court for stuff like that. But he wants to act like, oh, it's such a bad problem. It's so terrible. Oh, we have the private company. It's not the free speech issue. It's private company does. This is all we heard for 10 years from the quote unquote left. But now you see how it's the right-wing position. This is Trump's brain. Trump is the guy that got kicked off Twitter. Trump is the guy that reportedly or apparently underwent all this censorship only to come back and usher in the next wave of it. And that's why, Anthony, when you kind of point to the whole thing being preordained or set up, more and more of it just seems to be true to me. Because how do we get here, man? What's your take on that?
Well, it's obvious, man. They want to get rid of the Constitution. They want to make sure that we don't talk about Jews at all. This is why they did things on Wikipedia, like taking away early life. They don't want us to know that they're Jewish. They don't want us to talk about their crimes. They don't want us to ridicule them at all. So what they will do is they will burn the Constitution. They will create their own laws, their own Noahide laws, and keep the cattle being quiet. I'm like, yeah, I do believe that Trump, all the fake lawfare and all the fake censorship and all this stuff was to build up to the point to make the MAGA base be like, oh, this is our leader. We have to get behind him. He's so attacked. He's this, he's that. But now he's switching up on everything. And a perfect example of this is him with FISA, saying that now we need FISA. They use FISA against me, but now we need it. So it's the same thing.
One second. I am willing to give away my rights, I'm paraphrasing, as an American citizen for security and for our great military. Raising Cain, he needs it so much. He needs to be able to spy on you. I love it. Like that. That was literally the argument. He says, I'll give away my freedom for security. And of course, Benjamin Franklin, founding father, those who give up liberty to gain security deserve neither and will lose both. But see, and it's like you talk about, Matt, and also you, Anthony, no one has a knowledge of history, the Bible, the country, what our founding fathers actually said, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all of it. That's how they're able to get away with all this. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, if you don't know your history, you repeat it. Right. And so you're spot on. You create your enemy. Like that's why America has been caught funding Hamas, funding ISIS, funding Al Qaeda, funding the Taliban, creating the Taliban, right? And creating ISIS and doing all these things with MI6, Mossad. You create your enemy. So you have the military industrial complex can keep running and keep eating, and you constantly have a reason to invade and fight people. It's the same thing that, as Anthony very well said, it's basically you create the degeneracy, you create the problems, you even live the problems, and then you come back in and you destroy the problem to your benefit, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
We're under attack. I'm hurting you. We're under attack. Like it's wild. They literally, it is true. Like the crying out in pain as they strike you. Yes. That's the craziest thing to me. Right. Yeah. You look at October 7th, obviously mass casualty event, but I watched, I forget if it was Michael Yon or Ivan Ranklin. They're both special forces and they're both bald. So I tend to get them mixed up, but they're like, look, I've been there in Israel. They have a helicopter base 10 minutes from where this is going on. They're not there for 8 hours. And then when they get there, they mass slaughter their own people. Yep. That's on record as well. So that's what we look at as a green flag operation. A false flag, sure, but a green flag operation, just like a Pearl Harbor. They know it's going to happen. They let it happen. They make sure it's as bad as it can be. And then you kind of have this infinite victim narrative that you can always tap into no matter how bad your war crimes are. I mean, people, like I was in a debate with this guy, Matt, and you didn't hear this, so like you may not even believe, but I know you do believe it because you see how these people act online. He told me most, if not all, the footage I've seen from Gaza is AI. Do you believe that?
Well, somebody told him
to you, knowing what stuff like that might actually look like. Did it look fake to you?
No. Well, Gaza has been completely demolished. Again, but we're heading this world again where AI can be used to manipulate anything, right? So, you can usually, here's the problem with people, and this gets worse the older you get. The first time you see something, that's what you believe. And then you have to see, and psychological studies have shown multiple different
availability
cases.
heuristic. Yes.
100%. Like multiple times you have to see the truth before you even start to question the first lie that you believed. So yeah, it's 100% believable today. Because look at us, right? Talking on here. We all have our individual echo chambers, then this collective echo chamber that's created today from this conversation. So you have to be in that echo chamber to even hear this, right? So the majority of people, when they're having a social media experience, it's totally different than this. So you've got butt pics and girls doing squats on one side, you've got puppies on the other, you've got comedy, you've got all this type of stuff. So everyone's
Pokemon.
Yeah, right. Video games, the Real Housewives. I mean, so everyone's living in their own little bubbles of information. So their worldview might just be that one clip that comes through that's AI, and then they go back to their butts and their Pokemon, and so for us, because we create our echo chambers, we live in a constant information overload all day of what's going on in the world. So we have the ability to sift through the nonsense. We see the garbage, but we choose to live in that echo chamber. They don't. And that's how they win. They pull them in their echo chamber and they show them the fake and gay news just for a second, and they believe it. And then they go back to their butts and their Pokemon.
And what's really interesting about the fake and gay stuff is that I forget who said it. It may have even been Hunter S. Thompson. Like I subscribe to all the mainstream outlets so I can see through the cracks. Like you can really, you can, like when they had Xavier DeRusso, the gay black guy, Emily Saves America, shout out to her. Like, baby, I love you. All right, I gotta be honest, baby. I'm a big fan. All right, but what's been done is pretty inexcusable. So you got Xavier DeRusso, Cam Higbee, Emily Saves America. they're all over there wearing fake plate carriers where it doesn't even actually have the body armor in it, and like some little like tinfoil helmet, standing out by all this food, like these boxes of food that have never been delivered to anybody, covered with sand, perishable items ripped open. And they're like, huh, look at all the food. Why aren't they coming to get the food? Where are the Palestinians? Laughing at the people that are starving, literally, which is a really crazy thing to do. And I would just say, like, if you're propagandized into doing that, maybe you need to come out and tell your story about how that all happened, because we know the people have been starved. That's on record now. But you look at that event, they're literally surrounded by IDF troops in a desert around nobody else. So that's where the food is. You can see where the food is being delivered. It's this massive warehouse where it'll never be distributed, right? So even in that production, in that propaganda, you can point out to people, hey, you see those boxes that are ripped open? I've worked in warehouses for 15 years. You don't treat perishable items that way. That was never meant to go out to anybody. I'm just pointing that out as an example. Like, you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I have 2 points to that. The first one is that when you look at the situation in Gaza, where you find out that they have something called the red light, green light system, where they tell people to run to the food supply and then start shooting them, the IDF. This is like, known. Anthony Aguilar is coming on. He'll tell you about it, because that's why that set him off in his.
It pisses me off, man. Fuck these people.
And then hold on.
Like, no, dude.
I understand.
I want to like flip the table over. Man. It pisses me off.
But also, let's look at the hypocrisy. Now, this is a hypocrisy moment from MAGA, okay? Remember in Puerto Rico, where we found out that they were keeping all the aid that Trump sent to them in warehouses, and everybody flipped their shit during the hurricane, saying they're holding all the aid, they're hiding all the aid, they're trying to hurt Trump. Well, that's what's happening in Gaza. They're holding all the aid, they're hiding all the aid, they're keeping it in warehouses, and people aren't flipping out about it. Because this is the whole entire hypocrisy around the MAGA movement. If they don't believe it, if only the dear leader tells us that it's true, and Trump literally came out and was like, oh, we're helping them with aid. We're doing this, we're doing that. In reality, China was the one that was dropping them aid. I don't know if you guys saw those. They were using like their version of the C-130 and dropping off aid to the Gazans. America was not. America was giving it to Israel, and then Israel was withholding it and then using it as a honey trap to shoot Gazans, literally making them have a Squid Games like game that they're playing. Red light, green light, run to the aid. If you don't make it to the aid, we're shooting you while you're going to get your food. While there's children, literally, they were eating sand because they were so hungry. There's pictures and videos, and these scumbag Zionist Israelis say they call it Pollywood. They call it Pollywood. They say that the whole entire thing's an act, that all these Palestinians, they're making restaurants, they're eating, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's a complete fabrication.
They will literally have a film set where they have a fat brown guy go, I am Palestinian, I have so much food, I have so much money. And it's Hollywood. It's literally a stage production that you're talking about. I mean, think about it. They had over 400 UN aid centers at the beginning when this was actually acknowledged to be a crisis. They sweep it all under the rug for GHF establishments, and that's where the red light, green light game is being played that you're talking about. I was reading the numbers on antiwar.com. I'm sure they're much higher, but it's thousands dead and tens of thousands injured. And that's just something that are people that are pro-war, they're able to write that off. I'm not able to write that off. I'm a follower of Christ.
It's disgusting. There's videos too. You can see videos of IDF laying down on dirt hills, shooting at Palestinians going to get food. It's like, is that CGI? Then it's fake.
Well, a lot of guys that, I did the Sentinel Foundation with were, when I was the president of that foundation, a lot of the guys that do the human trafficking rescues, trainings and things, that's not their full-time job, right? They're paramilitary contractors. They do security operations around the world. They're former Delta, former Green Berets, former whatever. And a lot of them got sent over there under contracts where they were told they were going to help the Gazan people, right? And basically provide security so that they could be fed. And there's a couple of them, I'm not going to say names just because, that's their own dynamic of how they're releasing that information. But you can Google this. A few of them have come out of whistleblowers and have talked about how they went over there with the guys that they were getting paid a handsome, daily rate to provide security for the food to be delivered to the Gazans, and all it turned out to be was that you're basically protecting the food from the Gazans, and then if Gazans would get close, Israeli snipers would kill the kids. And it literally, some of the guys, are scared that they're going to get killed or murdered if they say anything. But there are 2 guys that have gone and spoken about
this. He's coming on our show. He's coming on our show next Wednesday, Anthony Aguilar.
Okay, great. Yeah, Aguilar's one of them, and then there's a couple more that have started to speak out because when I fought wars, like, man, if you killed a kid intentionally, one, you're done. You're thrown under the prison in the U.S. military. Right. But if you accidentally killed a kid, just in the framework of fighting, which thank God, as far as I know, has never happened. The guys literally killed themselves over that. Right, because of that stuff. And then you see these Israeli demon, these monsters murdering children, literally picking a shirt color that day that they're going to get a kill in for a child. I mean, I've seen the videos. But here's why Moa knows. They control the media. 97% of the media is owned by a pro-Israeli dual citizen or Zionist, right? So they control the framework. They control what people see. They get to push that out there. So their lies are pushed to so many people. So that's why I try to have a little bit of grace. Most people just never see the truth, right? We do. They don't. So it's like, how do you get the truth out when they control the media? They control the channels. They control the social media. They control YouTube. They control the stuff where the lies are told.
And this is not something that's new, by the way. They owned all the printing presses. They made all the magazines. They've been controlling the information for a very long time. So this is like going all the way back to like the 20s. They owned all the printing presses. They owned all the newspapers being sent to all the goyim. They owned all the magazines, all the popular culture, all these things. This is all we know is a Jewish lie.
They own the Bible.
That's true.
Literally.
Like you can't, you couldn't, if you were going to write a horror movie or a thriller or a dystopian novel. I mean, Orwell couldn't come up with this. There'd be no way for him to come up with this blend of what we got going on right now. And it really is, it's more 1984 for people overseas, and it's more Brave New World for the people at home. Because you take the drug, you have the sex, you don't care about society, you're grown in a vat, you're all given some sort of poisoning. Like that's the American existence. And I call us pay pigs for the system. That's what we are. And as long as we go along with it, it continues. But when people start standing up against this stuff, and I do want a white pill, I do think that's coming. I think particularly you have this intersection of Gen X and Gen Z, and there's some millennial and some boomer. Those 2 groups, they're the biggest problem groups, in my opinion, the millennial and the boomer group. But the Gen X and the Gen Z, there's kind of this acknowledgement of like what our parents are responsible for. Like the Gen X parents, right? That are the parents of the boomers and had to deal with all their stuff. And then vice versa, the Gen X people whose parents may have been, greatest generation or early boomer. There really is this mindset that came into this country post World War II, where everyone wants to have this like stolen valor of like, we defeated Hitler, so we are the most moral and we are the new empire, and winning World War II gives us the right to control global destiny and blah, blah, blah. We don't actually control anything. The American citizen has like the most propagandized existence of anybody on the planet, right? But we're fooled into thinking that this imperial power is our power by proxy. It's really, just the pimp, that goes out and slaps the other hose and comes home and tells us that he loves us and slaps us too. We're just the bottom bitch. Like that's the relationship, right?
Yeah.
You could not have said that better, man. It's like that South Park episode, man. It really is.
Yeah. Do you know what I am saying?
But a lot of people are like South Park's childish, but they're geniuses in how they take something that really matters or is going on in the world, or a lie, or just something that
it's archetype. It's archetypal. It's metaphysics. Yeah,
those guys are amazing.
Yeah, Rex, I actually sent you a DM. Trump made a statement.
Oh, it's so tiresome.
It's a crazy one. It's a crazy one. But this proves more to our point of how people are being propagandized and lied. He just keeps lying and lying and lying, saying we're winning.
All right, we read it while you were in the bathroom. Give your take on it. No, okay. I'm throwing it up. You're all good. Okay. You're all good. I'm going to throw it up. Give us your exegesis on this.
I think that it's a complete lie. I think that Iran
That's what we said too.
Yeah, I think Iran won. I think that this is just more propaganda. If this was true, then Iran wouldn't be the one denying peace talks and all this stuff and saying like, no, we don't agree with this, so we're not doing it. And the fact that maybe Trump's trying to position our warships over there or whatever, and if that really comes down to it, I think we're playing.
Let's ask. let's ask the resident Astartes. Let's ask the resident soldier here. Why do you have 3 aircraft carriers if you're not going to use them? You know,
100%.
what's the point?
Well, they're preparing for an invasion if they must. I mean, obviously, we know Trump's not in control. You know, he's being told what to do. And Iran is the only country left, other than maybe Turkey, which is, 50-50.
Next on the list.
Right,
Oh,
100%.
no.
100% that can stop Israel from doing this greater Israel push and taking all these Muslim lands. So they have to demolish just like they did to Iraq, just like they did to Syria. Like right after the war in Syria, when the Assad regime fell, literally like the day after it fell, Israel went in and bombed every tank, every armored personnel carrier, everything, like literally everything that was left of their military. So that's what Trump's been doing. He's been systematically bombing and destroying, just doing exactly what his bosses tell him to do. Destroy the Iranian military, to blow up all their Navy ships, blow up all their tanks. Well, here's where they didn't calculate this correctly. And this is why, Hegseth has had to fire over 34 generals, the top commanders of the Navy and the Army, and then the lawyers have quit because we're not just fighting this war for some global oil position. We're destroying their military. But where we miscalculated, and this is where this is going to get really freaking bad, is Iran's had over 50 years to prepare for this war. And not only they had over 50 years, they have entrenched their ballistic missile systems, their guns, their ammo, their supplies in these mountain systems. We cannot bomb through that without maybe some type of nuke, if you even believe that's real. I don't even want to go down that tangent. But my point is, it is going to require a ground invasion in order to defeat Iran. You cannot bomb Iran into submission. You can kill a lot of people, but guess what? Because they're Shia Muslim, because they're Persian, because they have pride, they're like, bring it, right? So you can bomb. You're not going to be able to bomb the civilian populace. When Trump made that threat to he's going to blow up all the bridges and blow up the power plants and all this stuff and send them back to the dark ages, they went and filled the power plants up with people and bridges, and it wasn't the government doing it; it was the people doing it. This is the part of the war that America's not seeing. So they're like, hey, you blow up our bridges, we're standing on them. Come on, Trump, let's go. So, man, Americans can't fathom that, because if our Wi-Fi goes out, we quit. Right. So there's
I got something for you. You're going to like this. All right. The Iranians, they'll link hands and they'll defend like power plants, infrastructure. They'll be brave like that. You know what we would defend? The Burger King, the Taco Bell, the McDonald's. We would all link hands. We would say, you will not overcome. We shall overcome. We'd be singing, Martin Luther King Jr. style songs outside the Burger King to defend it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a little bit on that.
Let me ask you something, Matt, because me and Rex are under the impression, and I think there's people in the chat also. Do you think when the F-15 went down and the C-130s got blown up, was that a failed ground invasion? Because I truly believe it was.
It was a failed ground. Well, not invasion, a mission. Yeah, a failed mission. Yeah. We effed up big time. We were trying to special operations our way in and take that uranium and God knows what else we're after. I mean, there's always other crap we're after. But yeah, that was a failed invasion operation. So we have catastrophically failed the whole way through this war. There has not been one win for America, but this is the thing I think most Americans need to think about, and shut me up if I'm talking too much, but going to war with Iran, because they will all die. They will all go down with this ship. That Iran has this, kind of like the Israel Samson option, right? Where they're like, we're going to die for our country. So if you take us out, we're taking everybody out, or everything we possibly can out with us. And for them, that means the Gulf nation states, oil and natural gas, not just production, but refineries, and then also the reserves. So if that happened, if Iran pushed that, and if they don't have nukes, but if they went full ballistic missile on all this, refining equipment, refineries, and strategic reserves, if they did that, that would put most of the world back into the dark ages, because Africa, China, Russia, multiple, Asian states rely on the oil from Iran and the Gulf states for their survival, right? So if they took out that infrastructure, now here's where it would hurt Americans, because Americans are like, well, we don't care. We make our own gas, right? We do. But we completely rely on the world for all of our products and supplies and all of our goods, because we don't make anything here anymore. We rely on goods from China and India and Mexico and all these other countries. because you have to have oil to make things, not just ship things. Right. So, anyways, this would be
petroleum-based products, also known as plastic.
yeah, rubber. You know, so I'm just saying the second and third order effects of if Iran did that would be catastrophic globally, not just for energy, but for production, the global supply chain. You're looking at potential financial collapse and economic collapse globally.
For sure. And then you have yesterday Aragachi, or however you say his name, meeting with Putin. Arachi meeting with Putin. You know, that's just like a show of dominance of like what this new axis is being built as, you know, and people can say whatever they want about Russia, but Russia is still a force to reckon with.
When I don't mean to interrupt, like totally come back in after a yap here. The reason why they do like whatever, it's one of those leader summits or conferences, what they're saying is all a bunch of PR, HR language garbage. None of that's real, but it's the presentation of showing we're together, we're unified. And that video, that was a threat to Trump. Right, Anthony?
Big time. It's a huge blow to his ego because he thinks that Putin is like on his side. He thinks Xi is on his side. He made a statement about, oh, China's so happy with me. When I see Xi, I'm going to hug him. Xi is going to flip on this guy. Everybody's going to flip on this guy. If we stay stuck to Israel, if we keep this cancer on us, everybody's going to flip on us. And they have power.
I mean, he's the cuckold president. Right,
and now you have Europe too. Sorry,
Netanyahu's in the driver's seat. Yeah, like he sits in the baby chair.
And you have Europe also. Let's not forget about that. Most of Europe is not on board with this because if they were, they would have gone to the Strait of Hormuz. France didn't do it. England didn't do it. Italy didn't do it. Spain has done a complete embargo on Israel. So Trump is losing everything. Plus, he's saying we need to leave NATO. So that just leaves us with America and Israel. That's going to be the allyship.
And strongest ally. But look at it. Look at it. The Europeans have literally, they've committed seppuku on themselves with the Ukraine war. They say, okay, U.S., Ukraine, you want to blow up Nord Stream pipeline? Sure. We'll buy gas at 3 times the price from you. We're willing to take the pain because of evil Putin. And we hate him so much. Oh, we hate him so much. And now they're like, Mr. Putin, can we please make a deal? Because we've gone so insane. I mean, think about this. The Europeans have destroyed their own states and are complete like dysgenic lapdogs. But even they realize the insanity of what we're doing right now. We're bleeding ourselves out to feed our blood into the creation of the new empire in the Levant. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what all this is, man.
We're being bled out to create basically greater Israel, but a Jewish superpower. That's what's happening. It's a transfer.
Yeah, it's world Jewry. And like when we say that we're anti-Semitic, but Mark Levin literally can come out and say it's world Jewry. So like they're telling you what it is. Like you had this Chabad Lubavitch rabbi the other day saying, oh, we need to stop all of this. We need to have laws against anti-Semitism. This is the Noahide laws. Trump has already given his promise to the Chabad Lubavitch. He's being controlled by them. There's even in the Epstein files that Jared Kushner and the Chabad Lubavitch is controlling Trump. So what this is and what's going to happen here is like I said, everybody's going to separate from America because they're going to be like, enough's enough. Enough's enough. You and Israel, and you want to be together? Sure. And when this superpower access really becomes something, it's going to be completely like a destruction for America. Like you said, our entire market's going to crash. And Iran right now, because they have this grace period, this ceasefire, what do you think they're doing? They're building Shahed drones. They're building new ballistic missiles. You're talking about the greatest aero scientist probably in the world. That's all they're doing right now. America, it takes us years to resupply. And we've already used how many of our Patriot defense systems, how many of David Sling.
They make 60 a month. Yeah. They make 60 a month, and we're supposed to be the global hegemon based off of that.
No way. No way.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, we're in a missile crisis, but even more than that, the only reason we won World War II is because we were, post-industrial revolution. We had all the factories, we had the talent, we had the people who knew how to make things. We just flipped, right? We started building battleships and tanks. But again, we're not in that dynamic anymore. America, we can shock and awe with technology the crap out of anyone. And I think there's 3 dynamics that a lot of people don't look at warfare now, just when they base how they see the world. One is they they keep thinking it's going to be like World War II, where it's like battleship, like the game, and tank battles and all these type of things. It could eventually be that at some points. But with the technology we have, we can create earthquakes. We can create floods. We can literally destroy you with natural disasters.
Right.
Like we can create droughts. We can make, hurricanes. We can do tornadoes. We can, that. So do you remember, there's been so many things. Remember when we had that typhoon warning, or excuse me, tsunami warning, right? That was, going out. Well, some Intel analysts that worked for me at one of my old Intel companies texted me and they go, Matt, Russia did that, right? And basically, Russia used one of their earthquake creators, and it hit that peninsula, and then it made the earthquake, and that was sending a message to us that they could do it too, right? And we had that, tsunami warning. Well, what did Trump do like a day later, 2 days later? He goes, oh, the former president of Russia is talking shit, so I'm sending 3 nuclear submarines. Remember that? And no one caught it. That was Russia saying, look, we can do it too with earthquakes. So we have the ability to not just fight these wars, but we also have the ability to create natural disasters, which are far more detrimental and far more deadly.
And this is, sorry, not to cut you off, but this is 1000% true, because it actually came out in Iran when they bombed one of the radar systems. It started raining there.
Yes.
So they were actually causing a drought.
The most rain they've gotten in decades, apparently.
Yes, they were literally causing droughts. Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane fact right there, guys.
100%.
I mean, I want to come in. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I got to come in just for a second. I want to make this point because I wrote it down. Iran is like an organism that has developed like a resistance to the drug of the soft power of the American sanctions. And he talked about like their scientists as well. Everything has to be done in-house because they don't have access to this system that we have. But now that we've broken our own system, we're in the weakest position we've ever been in, and they're in the strongest position that they've ever been in. It doesn't match up. The typing is wrong. We were at a type disadvantage here. What do you think?
You're right. Great deception. It's a great deception. We are completely dependent on the system that I talked about earlier. 100%. They are not, because it's not the fact that they don't need the grocery store to have food. It's not the fact that they don't need power, that they don't need technology and the ability to communicate. It is who they are as people, what they become, their resolve, their intelligence, their intellect, their ability to do, their belief system, their construct of why they're here. They have the upper hand, communal for the whole country. The majority of Iranians are strong, resilient people that understand the world. The majority of our country now, and I hate to say it, is a bunch of system dependent, just basically leeches. We're leeches. And, the second you take our blood away, we die. And so that is just the difference in that level of resolve. So, the Americans think we're so superior because we got some really cool shock and awe military stuff. But again, there's other dynamics at play here too, outside of the natural disasters. And I think somebody just said something about natural immunity. Well, there's disease warfare, the biological warfare. So I was involved in the early days of the Ukraine war, to go back to what you talked about earlier. But we were doing orphan rescues, and we were doing a whole lot of things to rescue orphans that were getting trapped behind the front lines. But most people don't know this, that Russia bombed and strategically struck Ukraine in a couple day fell swoop. They were destroying laboratories in Ukraine.
Bioweapons labs.
Yeah, that were collecting Russian DNA and making bioweapons to exterminate Russians. So they vaporized those labs, and then they systematically took that peninsula in order to create some type of buffer zone between Russia. They could care less how many criminals they send to die in that buffer zone. It's a buffer zone between Russia and Ukraine. Right. And it's strategic. Right.
Is it true that they're in Chernobyl as well? Like, I heard that they were like actually in Chernobyl, that some of these bioweapon labs are over there. So like no one could go to Chernobyl, but supposedly that there's a bunch of bio labs there. So
yeah, everything is going to biological warfare and weather warfare. That's why you got all these chemtrails. That's a whole nother thing. Well, there's chemtrails that create other dynamics of those I forget, micro metals, whatever you want to call them. And then there's the biological agents, but then you also have a lot of things to do to manipulate weather, shielding sun, and then creating all these weather patterns, changing weather patterns. So again, man, bombs and bullets are the least of my worries. Now it is them playing God, right?
Yes. Cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a real thing. With what they did in Dubai.
Yeah,
And they couldn't control it. They caused a flood. They didn't know what to do with it. They wanted to give them rain, but then they created a flood over there. And
what do you think, as a military man, what do you think about the press gangs, about the forced conscription that goes on in Ukraine? Because we see these videos on X, and it truly is horrifying. You got a gang of people that throw a young guy in a van or stalk him, break into his apartment, throw him, and he's just going to the front line. In a week, 3 weeks, he's going to get blown up by an FPV drone. Americans oftentimes, like you were talking about earlier, about back in the day, like if an American soldier killed a child even accidentally, it's pretty much over. Like whatever way you want to talk about it, right? Our strongest allies are Ukraine and Israel. Yes. Which commit mass human rights violations, war crimes, and genocides. I'm sorry, I was under the impression that forced conscription was a war crime that was primitive, barbaric, and that we didn't do that anymore. I thought that's what we didn't do. So are they not us then? What makes them separate? What makes them different? Because it's our money, it's our bombs, it's our bullets. So how is it not us? And when they say, oh, it's Israel, we give Israel weapons to kill terrorists. We give Israel billions of dollars every year so they can prop up our munitions industry so they can kill innocent civilians. That's us. Disgusting. We're the ones doing it. We are responsible. And the first politician that stands up there and says that shit, that takes some fucking accountability for what we've done as a nation, I hope we see one of those people, man. Hope we just see one of them.
I don't disagree. That's what's happening with the world right now. We are the great Satan. We have been hijacked.
It can't be denied.
And Palantir literally came out and said that they want to force everybody in America to actually go into war.
Palantir, a private company, is saying that. Think about that.
Mandatory military service. I think it should be disbanded.
Yeah. But we're building a ballroom for them, though. I don't know if you guys know, but they're very much involved in it. Yeah, the AAL, exactly, and they're very involved in that. They put a lot of money towards it. So is Miriam Adelson. So this whole entire thing. And hold up, real quick.
Let's close on that. Let's go. Yeah. Anthony, give your take. Matt, give your take, and then we got a plug. If you want to stick around for the plug, Matt, let us know. You're cool to stay till the end of the third hour. But what are y'all's takes on that ballroom?
So I think that Miriam Adelson, Palantir, Microsoft, all these people have interest in this. I've been talking about this. I made a post in 2025 in October when they first started talking about this. I said, what people don't understand is there's a bunker that's underneath that wing. And what he's doing to do this is to actually build the bunker. The ballroom, I think, is going to be for mass sacrifice of the Noahide laws. They can all sit around and watch it. There's literally a Jewish, the guy that's constructing the whole entire thing is a Jewish man named Shalom. And it is the same blueprint as the third temple, as Solomon's temple. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of in your face of what's happening. And then you have this whole situation with Cole Allen. Now there's chatter that this guy just might be a streaker, that he didn't even have a gun. There's a whole weird situation about all that. This whole entire thing, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be your guys' opinion. I think it's a staged event. I think it's the push for this ballroom. I think the first thing that Trump does after he almost was assassinated again is he goes and says, wait, this is why we need the ballroom. Like, I don't know, guys. You tell me.
Yeah.
What's your take, Matt?
Well, so first of all, everything Anthony said, I believe, is spot on. The plans strangely kind of line in with the diagram, or at least what the third temple scripture says, or prophecy too. So you have to build it a certain way. When I've been researching this, and I'm not done with my research on this yet, but from what I'm seeing, the third temple doesn't have to be built a specific place. So that's an interesting dynamic, right? So there could be some replica of it, since this Al-Aqsa that's set on the spot, the first and second temples, were, or allegedly were, and that, then it's going to magically get destroyed somehow in this war. So there could be multiple temples built. Maybe Trump, just because he's beside, so if he wants a replica of the third temple in his house for some type of vanity purpose, who knows? But yes, it's strangely very similar to the third temple, and Judeo-Christian America, Protestant Christian America is cheering on the building of this temple. Outside of that, though, is yes, the what I'm seeing about the shooter, quote, the shooter. Why didn't he get shot?
Yeah, think about friendly fire. Friendly fire.
If he had a guy, right? Think about this. If this guy had a gun and he was running through a thing, how did he go down? right? Like if I was on the job, I was never the Secret Service. The co-host of my podcast was what they were launching soon, but he was Secret Service guy. He worked at the Bomb and Detail his whole career. If I was in that position and someone had a gun and their shirt off and they were crazy running through a lobby, I'd smoke them, no questions asked, right?
Instantly.
Right.
Boom.
So how did this guy not only not get shot, but with the gun get taken down? Like it's all fake and gay, man.
Well, with
It's
a
all fake and gay.
Mossberg shotgun, by the way.
Right. And he took a shot. And he met with a Mossberg shotgun. And they even his letter, I am going to shoot the cops in the bulletproof vest so that they don't, with the shotgun streaking, running through. I mean, just the tactical aim. I don't know how many people here have done like 3-gun or shooting competitions, but I challenge you to take a shotgun, take your shirt off, run through a lobby run through the gun range like a crazy fuck, and then try to shoot something with a shotgun in the chest, and then put it in your I don't know what you call it.
It's hilarious to watch me run around and try to hit targets, dude. People don't understand how hard moving shooting is.
But they don't think, because people don't think. They just eat the propaganda up. So yeah, guys, it's all fake and gay, and it's all not real. And that dude definitely was not shooting, because if he was shooting, he would have been shot. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So people don't think, and then they just show a picture of the gun, and then they show the letter he wrote. Sounds eerily, eerily like the Tyler Robinson thing and the Charlie.
Dude,
almost the same thing, only less.
They're canvassing the area now. They're sweeping. I've hid it in the brush. I'm gonna come back and retrieve
jumping off the roof.
It's like you got like a bad cop writing it, blended with AI, blended with the English teacher. Yeah. It's not how someone my age would talk. Like it's just clearly incredibly fake. And my thing is, I don't believe in an exploding lapel mic or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle coming out from under the thing. I think very obviously it's just another shooter, right? Just another shooter with another weapon. Possibly, and like it's Occam's razor, like the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. He didn't go up there with a screwdriver, reassemble his bolt action rifle, and then take that shot. I had people, you know what? You're a professional. I'm total civilian. I'm proud to be a civilian, total civilian. I had people tell me that 200-yard shot isn't a hard shot to make at all. It's very easy. You never spend time at the range. And I was like, well, Tyler apparently didn't spend much time at the range either. It's the most high pressure scenario that you could ever be in to make that shot. This guy is just a normal kid, apparently, that's up there with the gun. They're like, oh no, he hit him perfectly. He did it. A 30-06, I hunt with a 308, which is smaller. It blows a hole out of the other side of the animal. It didn't go through his neck. What are we supposed to believe there?
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, man, well, I was a sniper, man. And, tier one, excuse me, not tier one, but went to the level 1 sniper school, the highest level, sniper school training in the U.S. military, special operations. That's what I did most of my career, sniping schools and sniping, right? I love it. Actually, I had one of the most viral videos in the country in 2024 after the Trump shooting, and it was played on your dad's show. So that's where I really first got on social media. But I'll tell you this: there's no way in hell a 30-06 would not about rip someone's head off at that distance and at that velocity. It would, like Charlie Kirk's head would have gone flopping to the side. I unfortunately have had to shoot a lot of people in my time. And I'll tell you this, there was no way, shape, form, or fashion was that a bullet wound or an injury from a bullet. One size at entrance. So when someone gets hit with a bullet, I don't give a shit how it happened, where it happened, whatever. Bullets do not explode on entrance. They pierce on entrance, explode on exit, right? So that the velocity of entrance, a lot of times when you're trying to find if someone was shot, especially if a battle happens, they get knocked out, trying to find a wound, you have to take their skin and pull apart and keep going down their body like this to try to find the entrance wound, to see where the entrance came from, because entrance wounds close and fill up immediately because it's so fast, right? And then on the back side, they take everything they get on the inside, the bones they hit, all the stuff, and then they blow it out with it, right? Because the body slows down the velocity of the bullet. So anyways, there's no way in hell that it was a gunshot in any shape way, but also too that it was a 30-06 from that distance. It's just not logical. It just is not ballistically possible. And almost every special operations guy that's not bought and sold and paid for by who's has said the same thing online, right? It's just not. You don't even have to be a sniper. You can just be a hunter and know this.
Right. No, I understand. No, I've seen it. I know what happens with ballistics, and it's just not true. The narrative is false.
Yeah, my opinion. I think it's a psyop, but we won't get into that. We'll save that for another episode.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know. Look at Palm Beach Pete and all, but it's all super weird, man. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show here today. Where do people find you, man?
Yeah, man. So I'm on Instagram, Matt_Murphy_official. That's where I've spent the most time. When I created my X, some other show went on said I'm 95% shadow banned on X. I don't know, but I'm on X too. I don't even know my X handle to be 100% honest. Maybe
I'm gonna find you real quick. Give me 1 second.
Let's build it up. Let's build up your X. Cop on. We need you we need you in this information war over here. We need you on more episodes.
Well,
we'll both definitely come on your show too.
No, I would love to have you all on as well. So I have a day job, man. I run a couple companies and do stupid stuff around the world still, and try to post things on social media. So it's chaos, and try to be a dad, Yeah. So, maybe if I can find a way to monetize it without them shadow ban me, I can spend more time doing this stuff, But yeah. So it's Matt Murphy 23 something with some underscores in it, I think. Yeah. Here, I'm scared if I close this thing, it'll take me
Anthony,
off.
do you follow him?
Not on X. I follow him on Instagram.
We gotta find it.
I have an old profile, can't log into anymore. But that's how shadow banned I am, man. I have like 2,700 followers on X. It's like Matt Murphy 23 or some variation of that with underscores and stuff. And then I have the Instagram, and that's about it, man.
Well, I got a proposition for both of you, okay? Because Rex is kind of silent on Instagram and you're silent on X. Let's build up both of your followings on both these platforms. Rex, you come to Instagram for a little bit.
We'll work on it together. That's a great idea. Really appreciate you, man. I mean, we're talking about greater things here than just like the typical donkey elephant dialectic that most people get engaged with. We want to break people out of that plantation. We want them to just come to Jesus, come to facts, come to the truth, and God literally is the truth. So just try to have a little discernment and learn from the experts, listen to people that have actually been there before, like Matt detailing all of this, just kind of how these psyops, how the sympathetic magic system works, how they're trying to build this control grid around us. Thank you so much, man, for coming on the show.
Bless you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
Guys, I appreciate y'all for having me. And definitely let's do it again soon.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. God bless you. Thank you so much.
God bless y'all as well. All right, guys. I'm out of here.
Later, man.
Awesome. We got another badass interview done. Another badass interview in the books. Wasn't that awesome?
Incredible. And
that's the thing is like the people that have been involved in military operations understand what's going on right now. Not only makes no sense, it's designed to hurt the country. It's about bleeding the country out, like that sacrifice that we talked about. So we talked about heavy stuff on the show today. We talked about empire. How do we fight against the empire? How do we fund ourselves? We don't do it through shadowy donors. We don't do it through reading a QR code or an influence code for something we make 7% on. We actually manufacture, ship, and sell high-quality consumable goods, topical goods, goods that improve your life, dietary supplements, and beef tallow products. Anthony, I want you to tell them about the Ungovernable Project, the mission of it, and what you got going on over there.
Our mission is to make humans better, okay? Our mission is to give you a high-quality product that we source ourselves, that we make with our hands, that is going to make your life better. Cook with beef tallow. It will help you in so many ways. It will get rid of inflammation. It will make you lose the fat that's surrounding your visceral fat and all of this. It boosts your CLA. It has a smoke point of 450 degrees, so you're keeping the nutrient profile. It makes your food taste better, and it gives you a more satiating feeling. We also sell deodorant.
Dude, the skin stuff is amazing. I love it. I love the deodorant. I want to try more of it, but I really love the Wiseman's Gift.
Yeah, the Wiseman's Gift is one of our best sellers. It has thousands of testimonials of curing things from eczema, psoriasis, chemical burns, you name it. Helps with diaper rash. It's an incredible product. It's non-cotomagenic. It actually goes through your pores. All of these incredible real raw ingredients that we put in there, real frankincense sap from the tree, real myrrh, real castor oil, 24 karat gold flakes. This goes into your skin and it helps with everything from being antiviral, antibacterial. It has so many antioxidants in it. It's such an amazing product. We've sold thousands of them across the board.
You can feel the absorption.
It's amazing, dude.
You can put a glob of this stuff on, you can rub it in, massage it in really well, and then in an hour or two, it's basically gone because it's actually going in and moisturizing and providing the antioxidants and providing the vitamins, all of it. I mean, here's the thing: like I had this and used it for an entire year. I didn't use a lot of it all the time, but I consistently, week after week, about once a week, I'd use this for some like skin, some hair, like whatever, right? Because it's got the castor oil in there as well, good for the beard. But now I realize. I put this on last night. I woke up feeling so rejuvenated and looking so rejuvenated. I got to get more. So we're linking up this week. You're going to give me a care package. I'm going to give you a care package. Yes. And show people you got all these different phenomenal, like different skincare formulas, different lotion formulas, almost you could call them the tallow formulas with all the real whole ingredient. It's not essential oil. It's not BS. It's not garbage. It's the actual real whole ingredient. And talk about that with the sun gazer. We got sun coming up. People are putting poison on themselves.
Yeah, you guys are lathering yourself up in cancers. We use nothing but tallow, non-nano zinc oxide, real coconut pieces, and cocoa butter. It smells amazing. Smells like an Almond Joy bar. It will help in so many ways. You won't be putting cancerous products on yourself. You get a nice tan. You won't burn. We have also thousands of testimonials of people loving this. It's one of our best sellers, especially in the summertime. If you're going to get something, especially you want to try us out, go get one of these. I'm telling you. And once you go on our website, because you're a new customer, you get 10% off. And look at any other tallow website across the board. They're ripping people off. We're giving you guys the best price. Literally, we're sourcing the best ingredients. We're giving you the best price. And we promise you, if you don't like it, I promise you, I guarantee you will love our products from our cooking to our skincare.
All the highest grade. That's another important thing to keep in mind. And I want to go ahead and plug this as well because I've given you these products.
We love it. We love it. Shroom Force.
Yeah, talk about it a little bit. What's the cordyceps done for you?
Big fan of Shroom Force. Oh, I work out with it every day. I take it for your jiu-jitsu class. It makes you breathe better. I mix it with the lion's mane, so it opens up all my brain is firing on all cylinders. My pumps are like so much better because I'm having that mind and muscle connection, and it's just giving me such power, so much better than these pre-workouts that make you all jittery and you crash. Like this is just clean energy. It's a great fuel. I have all the other ones. I need to start trying them all. Honestly, I'm gonna start doing
let's break down a little bit about what Shroom Force is. So here's the scam in the supplement industry. Someone will come to you and they'll say, I've got this mushroom coffee, I've got this greens powder, and it's got the lion's mane, it's got the reishi, it's got all the different mushrooms in it. Why would you just take one thing? We could take all of them. Well, simply put, we're not going to take your shotgun blend because your shotgun blend doesn't have an actual efficacious dose of ingredient in it. If you look at all these products, you're going to see the same exact doses used in the studies. Like for lion's mane to actually improve brain-derived neurotropic factor, to actually boost neuroplasticity, make you think faster, learn new skills faster, rewire your brain faster, all that. To have that effect, you got to take at least 600 to 1.2 grams of that, all right, a day. And if you're taking a mushroom coffee, might have 100 milligrams in there, maybe you're paying more for a product that literally does nothing. So what we have here, what you just described with the taking the cordyceps and the lion's mane for a physical and mental performance and cognition increase. I mean, we've got that right there. That's a 2-month supply for $60. Powerful, and there's more discounts. There's more sales. Just ask me for them and subscribe, save 10% off. Same type of thing with Anthony, right? I mean, you're literally, find me a better deal. Find me an example of a 4-to-1 extract that you can buy that's 600 milligrams a cap, that's 60 count, that you're going to buy for less than $30. I challenge you to find that deal. You're not going to find it anywhere else but shroomforce.com. We've got all the other amazing adaptogenic mushrooms and just herbal adaptogens as well. Everyone knows about ashwagandha, maidenhair, reishi, golden root, lion's mane, cordyceps. I developed all of this. This is my idea. I wanted to bring people a high-quality generic, just like you see now, where people, instead of paying, like $400 for, some sort of prescription, they'll just go out there and get the generic, and it's just as good because it's not a branded or trademarked product. That's the scam a lot of the time, too. It won't just be cordyceps. It'll be cordyceps AP5 XL, and it'll be something they paid a college to do a bullshit study on, like 1987, so they can make one little health claim that you can't make selling the generic. It does the same exact thing. So literally save half of your money and come buy it from me if you're going to come get it already, or just check it out. Look up all these things on PubMed. Look up all these things on Google. Look at the studies. Look at the journals. Look at what they say and make up your mind. Maybe one of these things could improve your life. If you could afford it, if you want to try it out, go to shroomforce.com for all those amazing deals and offers. So much going on at shroomforce.com. It really, really is a phenomenal brand. And all these things, I mean, this is something really helps with mental cognition, especially with exercise, makes it more enjoyable. This turns the stress hormone into testosterone, changes where the cholesterol goes. Instead of making the what am I looking for? Cortisol, you make the testosterone. This is incredible for a neural blood flow, making sure your brain is working, kind of avoiding like migraine situations. Possibly, you might want to look at that. Ultimate Reishi. My forewoman, Trish, who runs my warehouse for me and does my fulfillment, she takes this in the morning to help with her sleep. She says it helps her in the evening, and she notices when she doesn't take it in the morning, she doesn't sleep nearly as well. She doesn't have the sleep duration that she does when she takes this in the morning. Why is that? These are all powerful antioxidant ingredients that work in different ways, and they're hormetic stressors that work in different ways. Look up what I'm talking about right now. Understand cell senescence, understand cell apoptosis, understand mitochondrial health, get educated, and then come back to these stores or just shop at these stores now. You're going to find what we have works, period.
Exactly. And listen how he talks about it. He knows what he's talking about. Like,
sure. No, absolutely. Here's the thing. It just goes back to everything we do, Anthony. We don't do things we don't believe in.
Exactly.
So like that's the whole purpose of us showing you the product. We show you the product in order to show you that there's a better way to do all of this. There's a better way for us to trade with each other. There's a better way for us to support small business. There's a better way for us to support independent media. And that is by giving you, the viewers and listeners, the ability to contribute to the giant spirit bomb that we are building and that we are going to toss at the bad guys. But as my dad has always said, it takes money to win a war. And that's why we provide the best ways possible for you guys to support the show and support the programs and support what's going on. I want to remind you again, theungovernableproject.com. If you're using tallow, if you want to use tallow, you need to use tallow. I need to use tallow. Go to theungovernableproject.com. Tallow has been used for centuries in the kitchen and home. Seed oils are made from machines. That's all true. Goes back to palm oil and all of that. They want us to be machines. They want to run us like a program. They don't care about you. So care about yourself and get products that you need. I really want to do a passionate plug here, not even for my own stores, but for theungovernableproject.com. You need this tallow. Let me tell you, this will last you a month to 2 months. You're spending $23. Go buy crappy olive oil. Go buy crappy avocado oil. Go buy all these crappy seed oils, little rapeseed oil. And maybe you got to pay $10, $12, maybe $8 if it's the rapeseed, if it's the real cheap stuff. But if you want an equivalent, something that's far superior than like a mid-shelf olive oil, for a mid-shelf olive oil, you're going to pay like $18 to $20. This is infinitely better than that. It's going to last you longer. It's of a higher quality. It's all suet grade. You can get it right now, and you can get discounts when you buy in bulk too.
Yeah, we have great bundles. Great bundles.
Yes. And I'm going to show the bundles to the audience right now because people need to know. And we're serious about this, guys. The reason why it can just flow like a river from me and it will never stop is because I know I'm telling the truth.
Amen.
And they'll say, you're a grifter. You're trying to make money. We're trying to live and move the message forward. And that requires financial support.
Amen. Yeah, we're going to make this show bigger and better than ever.
Yes. Absolutely. And look at this. You got the Carnivore Extremist bundle right here. Choose skin cream, choose lip balm, choose all of it. That's a great deal. Go over here to cooking and baking. Go ahead and take a look at where do I find all? Where do I find your bundles?
I think they're right there under the baking, right there.
They're under the baking?
Yeah. Well, it shows that we sell a 2-package. If you go down right here, yeah, bundles.
Oh, I defeated myself.
It's okay. Right here, bundles. So you could get a whole gallon because these are 2 half gallons, and then you can get 2 jars, and they're for great prices. You're not going to find this anywhere else, especially suet.
How long does this last somebody?
Oh, it could last up to 2 years, depending, if you keep no food in it, you keep it no moisture, you can put it in the freezer, you can put it in the fridge. It can last up to 2 years, but we say like a year to a year and a half.
Wow. So if someone's cooking with this every day, how much are they going to use, you think?
A little bit, a spoonful. It's like the same if you were using like a coconut oil, it's the same exact. And you could bake with this as well. You can melt it down. You make the best cookies, the best brownies of your life. Make it.
And this is a great deal. You're getting each one of these for $22, even less really. If you look at manufacturing and shipping and all that, you're getting such a phenomenal deal on this. I encourage everybody to start cooking with this. My first carnivore, I think this is a phenomenal deal. I just want to go ahead and show that to people. But thank you so much, Anthony. Really good show today.
Thank you.
We got a ton of guests coming up. So here's the thing, right? So Tim is going to do some morning stuff with me as well. We're going to do one day. I think it's going to be Tuesdays with Tim. I think I'm going to do 3 days with you, and then I'll have one day for myself.
That's perfect. So Tuesday I can do jiu-jitsu. I have a morning class I could take for that. So that's perfect for me.
Beautiful. That's what we're looking at here. Want to thank everybody. Thank you, everyone, showing all the support, all the love in chat. We're going to go ahead and end the show. Alex Jones is live if you want to tune in. Thank you, Anthony.
God bless, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah. Love you, man. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, the man in the mirror. I'm alone again. So I'm going to throw this up one more time. So here's the thing. Anthony is a small businessman. Anthony's somebody that's struggling like me to make ends meet right now. These are the best products in the world. They are the best products in the world, and you need them. So if you can afford it, or if you can change your grocery bill to where instead of spending the same amount of money that you spend on seed oil, maybe you spend that money you have budgeted out on something like this that really is incredible. And for people that have the means, I mean, here's the thing. I hate traditional like lotions, oil, all that stuff makes me feel gross, always sits on my skin. I mean, this is the new way. This is next level. Like Anthony's a real mensch for doing this. He's a real solid guy, as they'd say. He's a real mensch for making these formulas. Maybe they wouldn't say that. But here's the thing. If you want to support independent thought, if you want to support the new reality, the reality of truth that we're trying to build, best places to go are the stores that we have to support the show. And like I haven't even tried this one yet. This is the one that I really want to try. And it's got like the medical grade honey in there that's like rated to close wounds. So very interesting stuff. Want to thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace out. If I could do it, you know what? Whatever. We're having fun. I'm gonna sing a little bit. I'm gonna sing a little song. I'm gonna throw up my store too. One second. Throw this up. And get Knockout if you want knockout sleep support. If you don't want to take CBD, if you want a high quality sleep supplement, I've got knockout sleep support for you. 50%off.com. But we're gonna close out the show with this. I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murdering scum, running giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green-looking skin, and they run around screaming, "We love Satan. We want to eat babies." I have them on video. Literal vampire pot-bellied goblins are running around, coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil end. I feel it go, ha, ha, ha. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even realize hell itself is rising up against us. Millions of people, the very worst kind, are pouring in, and I'm so pissed. They gonna stab your daughter at the mall. Oh, oh. Ooh, they gonna stab your wife, your son. Ooh, they gonna stab him with the butcher knife. And then the police chief is gonna say, "We love our Somalis. We love our Muslims. Oh, they so good. Oh, they so sweet." So that's a little bit of a classic song. That's an Alex Jones indie edit, folk indie edit. Look up Alex Jones Rants as an indie folk song that had like 32 million views on YouTube. Of course, they had to pull that too. I think they pulled the original, but it's still up there. It's still around. That's a classic. That's just a classic piece of things. Just to people going back to the last show, to people that say that like it's an act or something relating to InfoWars or my dad or all this. It's like they know it's a grift, they know it's a lie. We sit in the spirit of knowing that what we do is real. And like, I'm sorry to people out there like that aren't like our audience, aren't people listening to me right now. Maybe there's one or two of them that feel this way. I'm sorry that you've gotten to a point where you can't believe in anything but cynicism, nihilism, and sophistry. But we don't live in that. We live in reality. We're trying to make the world better. We sell products that make people's lives better. We do a show that brings information to people and makes them more informed, and therefore makes their knowledge better. So that's what it's always been about. That's what the reality of the situation is. Sure. Do we make mistakes? Do we make big mistakes even? Absolutely. All right. Who doesn't? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone would be what I would say. And that's why I always draw the corollary to the mainstream media. And, they say, oh, their revenue went up when they were covering the conspiracy theory and they did it to sell supplements. Well, what about Pfizer's revenue? What about the revenue of all the advertisers on the mainstream media platforms that know that they need to buy more ads and that they'll sell more product and make more money when these wars are going on? So they influence things and they cause a conflict-rich environment because they know people are paying attention to negative news. Are those people ever prosecuted? Are they ever sued for the war crimes, for the manufactured consent, for genocide and evil that they create? Absolutely not. But see, it's only us who are held to some sort of standard, right? And it's an impossible standard that no one else can meet. So I just want to thank everybody out there, not just who's ever bought a product, but people that have just ever watched the show, ever tuned in with an open mind, without a closed mind. I really appreciate you. I'm not a perfect person. I live in reality, or try my best to live in reality, but we're all in a process of waking up and getting better and becoming more empowered and becoming more informed. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I sold the products. That's why I do the show. I was selling the products and doing the show since I was like 10 years old. So I'm just doing what I know how to do. And I believe in it. I think it's real. I think it's worth doing. And I love you out there, even if you hate me. I will never hate you. I will only hate people that like murder. So goodbye. Love you all.